Well. Hello, hello. Hold on. As always, every time I restart OBS these days, everything breaks. So give me a second. Restarting. Now you guys should be able to hear music. Although the music might be a bit too loud. So let me make some adjustments even further. Something like this, maybe. Testing. Also, I kind of lost my voice and I might be getting sick. I just took another lozenge, so we'll see if that helps. Swiss Army Cinema says, well, look who it is. Yo, Swiss Army. Good to see you, mate. Man, so much to catch up on. Well, firstly, thanks for being here. Happy New Year. Is this the first stream that I've seen you in the new year? I think it is. So thanks for being here. I did take a long break from streaming, and then since I got back, since the year started, I guess I've only been back a few times for streaming. I've been running around doing a few different events here and there. There was this massive 1 billion follower summit event that took place from the 9th to the 11th. And I got reached out to by a company out here that I like working with to see if I'd be interested in doing like podcast hosting duties. So yeah, that's what I ended up doing for the event and made some really good connections there. There's a lot that we need to catch up on. First things first. Hello everyone. Welcome back. I've done a few new things here, so I'm just testing first to see if everything's working properly. Music is playing. Now, if I go to the editing scene, I think it's frozen. Yeah, so I have to restart. It's so annoying. I don't know what happened, but now every time I restart OBS, okay, now everything's working. Okay. There's something else I need to test. Cameras look fine. Let's see. Let's check out our cats. Cat number 1 over here, Kimbap. All right. Looks pristine. Music is playing. Mic is fine. Brilliant. Cat number 2. Nala is just hanging out over here. I think, I don't know what I did, but it's a little bit darker vibes right now over here. But I don't mind it, but I might need to increase the lighting just a tad. But we're going with the dark mood, okay? Swiss Army says, I've been busy trying to learn new things, organize my new workshop, etc. Sweet connections make all the difference, and them cats are passed out. Yeah, I just gave them food, and I must have put some tranquilizer something in there, because you're right, they just knocked out immediately. So anyways, thanks for being here, Swiss. I was streaming earlier today. I just did like a 2-hour, I think it was about 2 hours long, doing a co-working stream. I had a few things to get done, and then I had a meeting, which I can't get into right now, but there might be some really exciting opportunities that I'll be a part of. Without being able to get into more detail, just know that I have ambitions for this year, as do we all, but I am putting a concerted effort towards making those things actually come to life. So just know, anytime you're not seeing me on stream, there's no such thing as me not working. Just know that. If you're spending your time to watch me, if you donate money to me, if you're subscribed to me, whatever, if you support me in any sense of that word, just know that I'm not squandering your support. I am absolutely making sure that every waking moment I am trying to be better at my craft and trying to find some really cool, crazy, exciting things that you guys as a community will be a part of. So, okay, hold on. So that's fine. There is something I'm testing out for the first time on this channel. I am testing doing a vertical live stream simultaneous to my landscape live stream on YouTube. I still need to figure out how to set up my TikTok. I do want to test TikTok live stream at the same time. But I believe if all went well, what's up, Maple Glades? Oh, what is that emoji? What is that? Is that like the Grim Reaper? Hold on. What is that emoji? The salute. Oh, it's so micro here. I see now. Thank you very much for that salute. Thanks for being here, Maple. Oh, Maple, since you are here, it's Abith from the band. Abith. Oh no. You wouldn't know them. Okay, good. Okay, you've preempted me about to say like I don't know them, but sounds cool, man. Sabbath from the band. I know there's a Sabbath, something with Sabbath in it. Is it Black Sabbath? Something like that. Ben's 1876 says, Yo Bell, you helped me decide on a Nikon. What up? Oh, okay. Thank you very much for saying that, because that is absolutely something I need to screenshot. So let me take some screenshots of you saying that. You cannot rescind what you just said there, Ben. Or if you do, I'm gonna exit from my stream. There will be no evidence of it. But thank you. Thanks, Ben. Do I call you Ben or Benz? Benson. Ben's 1876. Thank you for letting me know. It feels cool. That means I'm an official influencer, you know? No one needs to know how much of an influence I am, but I'm glad that I was able to at least share some knowledge there. Swiss says, I sent you over an idea for the stream on Discord. Ooh, thank you very much. We have so many things to go over, by the way, including ideas for this year when it comes to live streaming. As you know, some of you guys might know, because we kind of delved into it towards the end of last year, that my goal this year is to start traveling and doing live stream while I travel. And it was kind of preempted, or I don't know what the right word is, but we had Maya and FaZe Adapt go to South Africa and do literally what I'm planning to do, just consistently. And now we've got the biggest streamer, as far as I can tell, iShowSpeed, who's traveling throughout Africa as we speak. And he did a little bit of wildlife safari. I think I briefly caught a bit of that. So anyways, a lot more case studies that this is something that people can find very exciting and can lead to really cool opportunities in terms of organizations you work with. Obviously, you need a lot of camera gear and a lot of tech stuff to make it, properly done. But I think it's possible. I think we're getting there. So anyway, we'll do a proper catch up on all that. Swiss, I want to see what you had sent across, so we'll add that to the list. Ben says, oh wait, no, Maple, there's a band called Abbott. And he's the lead guy, and he's a goofy guy. Okay, because I did think it looked like someone who looked a bit Grim Reaper-y, so maybe I wasn't far off. He's a goofy guy. Also, yes, Black Sabbath is the original metal band, which was Ozzy Osbourne's band. Okay, I know of Ozzy Osbourne. I think he died last year, right? And there, I think I used to play guitar a lot. Yo, I have a guitar back there. It's not just for show. I mean, at this point it is. Let's be real. But I do have my own guitar here. I used to play all the time. It was one of my first passions. Maybe I'll shake off the dust and we'll get back into it. Ben says, we go by Ben. You influenced my brain, dude. Well, that's what I'm here for, man. I'm glad that hopefully it's a good influence. We are the Borg Collective. I wish I understood that reference. Manas is in the chat. Manas says, yo, what you doing? What's up is translated. Nice. Thank you. Thank you for that translation. Manas says, what's up? Mana says, I also just bought a guitar. Well, congrats. I think buying instruments usually, majority of the time, I don't feel like it's a waste of money. Because like if you get into it, that is a proper... Can you really say that's time wasted learning an instrument? And if you end up not touching the instrument, hopefully it adds, or it can retain value for you to sell it later. I don't know. I said we, not I. I are the Borg Collective. Mabel says, check the YouTube live stream. It looks great in vertical on the phone. Apparently, YouTube vertical live streaming gets pushed a lot more by YouTube than horizontal. Yeah, I know. Oh yeah, I think Maple, we were briefly talking about this, I think, maybe the other stream that I was on, that YouTube recently has a new option when you live stream where it says you can dual stream to shorts and landscape. However, as far as I could tell, that's it. You just say yes, dual stream, but you have no ability to like adjust how you want the cropping. What, you know, like it's literally just bare bones. So it didn't really work for my needs yet. So I have gone the extra measure of setting up a separate vertical stream on OBS through Atom, AI-Tum. And thank you Maple for confirming. So it's a bit awkward to make it work. There's a few extra buttons you have to hit. There's a few extra steps before each stream. But if it's working, that's awesome. So yeah, and the big reason, to your point, Maple, is hopefully this means that I just have one extra channel of discovery that maybe someone will hop in discover me through whatever channel they're, yeah, so let's say if they're a shorts observer, I have no idea. I don't really watch a lot of shorts, but whatever can expand my reach, obviously I'm not going to be opposed to that. So Swiss says, he said we, not I. Okay. Do you use the audio attachment for your ZR? I was torn between a Z8 and a ZR, but ZR was more affordable and video focused. So for this, I'm using the ZR right now for this main camera view. This is shot with the Nikon ZR, but it's obviously not shooting in like raw format or anything. It's just for my stream here. And when I did do my main project with the chimpanzees, I did maybe 60% of the time was shooting with the Nikon ME D10 shotgun mic, and then the rest of the time was just with the built-in audio features. And I found that the ZR audio is amazing. Like that 32-bit float and everything is just, it's such an amazing feature for what I usually do, which is run and gun style. So I don't know if that's what you're asking, because you said audio attachment for your ZR, as in like, I wonder if you're saying like a shotgun mic or something. When I start traveling again, I will definitely put a shotgun mic on top. There's someone in the chat, he's not here right now, but I think it was Fedorevsky. I think he had recommended something which I still need to purchase, which is a little, what do you call it? A dead mouse? Dead cat? Wind muff. There's a tiny little wind muff that you can put onto your ZR, so you can just block out the wind sound, and it's not very, it's not obtrusive or anything like that. So, obtrusive? Did I just make up a word? It's not in the way. So, Manas is being translated for me. Yeah, LOL. Gotcha. Is the shotgun essential? No, Ben, I don't think it's essential, but it also just depends on what you shoot, right? Because, yeah, it just depends on what you shoot. I found that the built-in audio of the ZR is amazing for, let's say, if you're vlogging, absolutely, right? It captured my, and I made a product review video on my YouTube channel. Within that, I did try to show a few different examples of the different settings on the shotgun mic that Nikon released at the same time, as well as the built-in audio. And I found it to be really, really good. There's a few other audio modes that I didn't test out because I think you have to be in like H.265 or something, where it's got like an omnidirectional microphone setup, so you can like choose which direction that you want to prioritize for the mics. But I haven't done extensive testing on that. Swiss says, yep, it works great. Mana says, it's 7:30 there. It is 9:39 here. Yes, it is 7:30 p.m. here. Yeah, my streaming hours today was a little bit wonky, but I am planning to stream quite late today. And then okay, like I said, today I'm kind of treating it as my first stream back for the year. Even though I've done maybe 3 streams at this point, it was 3 sporadic streams when I could find some extra time in between like the random events and things that I was doing. So today marks the first stream back for me where I'm back on a routine. So you should be seeing me tomorrow, you should be seeing me the next day, and you get the logic. So I'm kind of excited for today's stream just for treating it back on a routine. So just keep that in mind. And as part of that, I do want to talk about what are things that I should maybe consider going forward in terms of stream content, format, timing as well. Like, should I do like an early morning stream, my time, which would be evening in the West Coast, and then in the afternoon either do my normal stuff and then I don't know. Anyways, point is I'm getting ahead of myself. There's some things that we're going to chat. I'm streaming for until my voice gives out on me, because I do think I'm getting a bit of a cold. I'm planning to stream till like midnight, maybe something like that. Small rig makes it for the internals. I love mine. Oh, okay. Well, you're talking, oh, I see, for like the microphone or the wind muff. Ben says, I'm an editor / animator primarily, but I'm dipping into video side of stuff. Interesting. Editor, well, yeah, I'm trying to think, if you're an animator, when would you need the microphone, I guess? But yeah, I'm curious what you're normally shooting, or what you're planning to shoot with the ZR. But the good news is, if there was a camera that I recommended for video where you wouldn't need a microphone, I feel like the ZR is probably the best candidate for that, especially because of the whole 32-bit float audio. Monis is asking if I'm up for a match of chess. Yeah, why not? I just gotta log back in. I forgot to do that. Let me do that off to the side here. Chess.com. Swiss says, good scratch mic. For anything else, get a set of Rode GoPro Labs or Rode GoPro Labs or similar for real gun and running gun interviews. Yeah, Rode. I'm seeing if I can get my hands on some Rode mics. I sent an email. Listen, sometimes all you got to do is ask, right? So what's the harm in asking? So I was at that 1 billion follower summit, and Rode had a booth there, and I literally just got like 2 minutes with them before I left for the final day. And I just got someone's email, and I figured I'll send her an email from the marketing team and just be like, hey, I would like to work with you guys because I'm doing, here's what I do. And then the things that I need is like obviously better wireless mics for my travel running gun stuff. Plus, I'm planning to use the Rodecaster video for my video and audio switching requirements for my live stream and podcast stuff. So hopefully I'll hear back from them. If I don't, there's another company that I've been starting to build a relationship with, and they were the ones that I was at that summit for. And I'm hoping as I establish a stronger relationship with them, maybe they can give me some good discounts because they're a distributor for a bunch of different brands, including, I think, Rode and Hollyland and a bunch of others. Sorry. Do you have a big partnership with Nikon? Nikon blink twice? I do. No, there's nothing, I don't hide it, or there's no reason to hide it. I have a relationship with them. It's not as cool as being an ambassador, because that would be like I guess that's like the holy grail essentially, but I am what they call like a Nikon creator. So they'll reach out to me at times if I can do like classroom workshops, or sometimes I've done a few like travel workshops where I take a bunch of Nikon photographers with me to like an itinerary or something that I put together. Yo, what just happened? Oh, a Korean. Sorry, I didn't mean it that way. I just heard something. Someone just subbed to me. A Korean sub. 타면에 지구. Oh man, my Korean is so bad. 죄송합니다. My Korean is 나빠. 타면에 well, thank you very much on the YouTube side. Thank you for subbing. Let me just double check. There's a few things that are I'm definitely still rusty. But also there's a few things on my connections that have stopped working properly, including OBS, which has been annoying. But thank you very much. It looks like someone from Korea has subbed, which, you know what? I bring great dishonor at the fact that my Korean is so bad. But I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Maybe I should learn my Korean. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. I'm trying to reset some things here on my end. Why is this not working? There we go. All right, bear with me, guys. Are you bearing? Cool. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate it. Mana says, great camera company, by the way. I will let Nikon know that. Mana says, bro, have you ever thought about getting a funny mic? If you've never heard of it, search it up. It's crazy. I've never heard of a funny mic, and I will definitely search it. Okay, I'm stretching myself too thin here in terms of tasks. First task, let me log back into chess.com. Now, the problem is I don't remember what my login details are. Let's try one more time. You know, I was, sorry guys, I'm blasting into the mic here. There we go. I've logged in. Yes, I remember. Look at that. They're telling me I'm on a streak. Now, I think chess.com is actually incorrect here. It's saying that I'm on a 135-day streak. That is wrong. I'm pretty sure that I've actually played chess every single day for, almost 3 years. I'm almost positive that I've been streaming like every day. But the problem is I was streaming on an old app, or I had a different username account that I was using initially. So that doesn't count, right? It's a different profile. And then I travel a lot. So maybe the app doesn't recognize the streak. My streak might have ended because I played chess offline, or, you know, like I'm on a flight, that kind of stuff. So Maybe that's why. But I swear to Christ, I've been on a longer than 135-day streak. But I am kind of proud of it. Maybe I shouldn't be because it's showing a bit of obsessive personality type, I guess. But yeah, I love playing chess. Doesn't mean I get better at it. I just play it for fun. But send it over. Send me an invite. Okay, what else do I need to do? Oh yeah, I need to check out that mic is massive, dude. Oh, are you talking about my mic? It is. It's the Electro Voice RE20. I actually got this mic after a bit of research. I had the Beacon USB mic initially, and we kept running into problems during my initial streaming, like that first month of streaming. The quality was just, it wasn't up to snuff, or there were things that I would need to do that I didn't know how to do in terms of filtering it out. And then ultimately, I used ChatGPT to help me figure out a better mic, and this is what we've got, the RE20. Fantastic one. Okay, so Manas, you've sent a chess link? No, it doesn't work here. Wait, can you just send me a challenge? Just send me a challenge. My username is Yobel Prize, same as here. It sounds great. It's just, it's menacing. Oh yeah. And the other thing is I got to figure out where to place it for sure. Cause I got this wide angle lens here. And so the moment, you know, there's something to be said about perspective, and lens placement and whatever else. So I still haven't figured out what's the best. I really don't like this like boom structure. I would love to have like a boom mic. Is that what they call it? Or I would love to have the mic not visible on screen, but still be of good quality that I don't have to like shout for you guys to hear me. Technically, I shouldn't be shouting. Like technically, you guys should be able to hear me just fine, even if it's at a distance. I think I just have a bad habit of always feeling like I need to talk right into the microphone or something. I'm not sure. Listen, we're learning. Okay. So while we're seeing about this whole chess thing, I do want to kind of catch you guys up to speed on life, you know? Life's been really busy so far. I don't even know where to start. We did do a bit of catch up on, I think it must have been my first stream back, but I think it's probably a good time to do it again. Yeah, because like I said, this is the real start of the stream. So a lot's happened in the past month and a half. Started with a buddy of mine who was a Russian tattoo artist. He did 2 of my tattoos previously on my shoulders, and he has a distinct, it's like a hand poking style. So that's what he's known for, but he does both, like hand poking and like the needle style. So he crashed with me for a couple weeks towards the end of November, beginning December. And as a thank you, he wanted to do some fresh ink for me. And so, you know, I spoke with him and I obliged because I've been meaning to get more tattoos. I've just been so swamped. Tattoos cost a lot of money. I still paid him, but like, you know, I didn't feel right giving it for free, even though he was staying with me. But anyways, point is he got me a awesome tattoo for like a price where I was like, oh, okay, nice. Thank you, man. But yeah, so that was awesome. So that's how we got this new hand tattoo, right? And he's going to come at some point in the future where he's going to ink up the rest of my arm. And he has a buddy of his who does color tattoos. So there's going to be 2 styles that kind of interweave amongst my arm. So it's going to be a little bit funky, but you can imagine there's going to be some color ink on these fingers and then the black ink across, and they'll just kind of like weave in and out. So it's going to be really fun. There's no timetable on it. So, you know, but anyways, that was at the beginning of December. And then literally as he left, my mom arrived. And so I had my mom stay with me for, I think like 3 weeks or so. It was her first time coming to Dubai. So I did a bit of tour guiding, and then also I was just doing a lot of work. It was a little bit distracting for me to try to live stream while my mom was here. Just because I never really knew what my day-to-day schedule would be, and just a bunch of random stuff. So I decided, let me just not stream for the duration of my mom being there. But I was productive during that time, so I was always working. So I did set up, during that time, I set up a new cat channel, a new YouTube channel about my cats, maybe is a better way to say it. Ben says, I kind of want to do nature footage doc stuff too. Your channel inspires me. Thank you, man. Well, listen, that is the point of my streams usually. I mean, there's no point to anything, but I like to share my behind the scenes of how do I create my content. And I always put a little caveat, but I would not be what you would call a professional in the sense that this is not anything I've went to school for or studied for. And to be fair, not many people do that. Like, you don't have to in this day and age. But what I mean to say by that is, like, I'm still learning a lot of the technical language, terminologies, the actual techniques. So I might say things that are a bit more crude around like how to edit or why I do something. But we do have a nice community here of other filmmakers, editors, you know, everything, right? So I'm learning a lot from these guys as well as the internet. I do some research there. So feel free to join in as I do these streams, and during it, right now I'm trying to find some time. Obviously I'm doing a bit of catch up, so just kind of like catching everyone up to speed and shooting the shit, as they say. But I do have a lot of video projects I need to work on for my YouTube channel. So this is something we were working on towards the tail end of my previous stream, where I'm collecting a bunch of the footage that I have where the theme is going to be about these baby chimps, so the junior chimps. And it's basically, I just want to see, can I create another quick little video? I'm calling them cinematic travel moments, which should be hopefully at an easier level of editing, such that I can push these out onto my YouTube channel more quickly than like a travel vlog or a product review, things like that, which might require a few weeks of like scripting and, you know, structuring everything and blah, blah, blah. So this kind of like faster bite-sized content is what I'm trying to post on my YouTube channel more often. And so I've done a series of these topical things from this chimp island that I was recently at. And this is probably the final one, maybe, that I'll push, which is going to be, again, right now the title could be something like To Be Young Again. It's a little bit too broad for like a good YouTube title, algorithmically speaking. But the point is, I just want to find all of these nice footage of these young chimps and how they live their lives, and then we'll just make it look cinematic. So that is one thing I'm doing. And if you find it helpful, if you find that you learn from how I color grade, how I like to talk out loud. Obviously I'm streaming, so the whole point of this is I like to share my thoughts, right? So when it pops in my head, you guys hear a split second later, but basically I'll just kind of share everything about how do I edit, what are my thought process, why do I think this shot should come before this one, what's my thoughts around like you know, the music choice, or thematically what we need to do to make it hit a bit more hard or something. I don't know, stuff like that. Mana says, tone down the volume for this. I sent the challenge, by the way. Oh, okay. Oh, wait, am I? Let's see. Oh, for the music, maybe. Let me turn it down a bit. Okay. Should just be soft in the background. Insane how impactful those close-ups are on their faces. Why that chimp kind of look like me? Hey, listen, man. Chimps do share, what do they say? I think it's like 99 or 98. It might be 98 rounded up to 99. I don't know. At least 98% of our DNA is shared with chimps, is my understanding. So, yeah, the close-ups. So this is, and again, apologies, guys, because I literally think yesterday I was at some kind of meetup with a bunch of filmmakers and stuff. So it's been fun. That's another thing, I'll catch you guys up to speed, but I've been trying to network a bit more and meet more people in that space and learn from them and collaborate with them. But yeah, we met up at a shisha lounge, and I usually don't smoke hookah or things like that too often. It's just more like a casual thing. But I ended up smoking quite a bit of that, and I wonder if I got sick from it, because like I woke up this morning and yeah, sore throat, that kind of stuff. So so even now as I'm speaking, I can feel it building up. This is the funny mic, by the way. Oh yeah, sorry, let me Google this. We're gonna Google funny, whoops. How to funny mic from 6 years ago. Is this it? Let's see. Because I can't like copy links from. No, see, that's not it. Yeah, the problem is I can't click on links in the chat, Manas. Don't Google. Here, just send me the video title, and then I'll look at it. Okay, so anyways, let me keep catching up on things. Ben says, didn't know you could stream via camera like that. Which camera? Via camera. Are you talking about like this setup? Yeah, by the way, so that's, again, of course, but this has been a really fun part of my journey. Give me a second, because now I'm like heating up here. I freaking hate wearing headphones. Here, I'm going to take my headphone off for a second. Give me a second. All right. I'll try to copy it from here. Usually I have issues copying and pasting from chats and stuff.
There's one more thing that has been left behind in New York that I think you guys are going to enjoy.
Oh, geez, that's loud. Yeah, let's not get that kind of mic. Oh, you said can't see the screen, by the way? Yeah, I was just watching that video you sent me. Super loud. Obviously, I will never do that to you guys, okay? I'll promise you that I will not destroy your ears to that level. Not intentionally, okay? Ben, when you said you couldn't, I didn't know you could stream via camera like that. I'm curious what you are referring to, but I'll take a moment to just kind of break down. I'm using the Nikon ZR for this camera, and I've got an Elgato 4K cam link as the capture card, connecting into my PC or the Mac Studio. And so I did it for all three. It's not, I think I'm going to switch over to like a video switcher eventually, but anyways, keep that in mind. And then I've got my Nikon Z6 III for this cat camera. Oh, sorry. And this is with the 50mm f1.2 lens. And then for Nala over here, this is the Nikon Z9 with the 24-70 f2.8 lens attached. So that's kind of like that's my current setup. And I want to take it even further, right? So I mentioned briefly in chat previously, but I have like a big C stand.
I have sent you the challenge.
Ooh, Mana says I sent you the challenge. If you can't find it, just send me a challenge.
I am in your friends list.
If you can't find it, just send me a challenge. I am in your friends list.
Let's find. Where did I? Oh, chess is here. Okay. All right, where are you? How come I can't find new game? Okay, I'll play a friend. Yeah, chess.com, I swear, something annoying about it is like, why is it so hard to find someone requesting a challenge? All right, I'm gonna request a challenge to you. Here, let me share my screen. I'm gonna play one game, or we'll do one game, and then because I have so much to catch up on, I'm assuming this is you, Manas here, yeah. All right, let's do a bullet game, 1 minute game with 1 second added. All right, challenge sent. All right, here we go. This is day 135, was that right? 135 of my stream streak. But I'm used to playing on my phone, so I don't usually play on desktop. I don't know how people play on desktop, because like I feel like you're so much slower. Especially with these kind of like speed games. Gotcha, Manas. What are you gonna do? Which one are you gonna sacrifice? I see how it is. Oh, which one do I want to take? I'll take this one. Bum, ba, bum, ba, bum. What next? What next? I gotta be careful here. My queen feels a bit vulnerable, you know? But so does your bishop. Gotcha. Gotcha. I gotta be careful on time. If I lose, it's gonna be on time, yeah? Possibly. Let's see. I gotta play smart. Gotta play fast. Ooh. No mercy, Manas. No mercy. I respect you too much to show you mercy. Thank you, Manas. That was fun. That was fun. Thank you for the game. We'll play some more, but let me take a break because I have so much to catch up on first, and then we can play. And I'll do my best to crush you. Okay, show you why I am the champion. Why I've streamed for 130. What was it? 5 days in a row. But thank you for that. That was fun. Okay, so let's get back into a bit of catch-up mode here. So I mentioned the tattoo. So that happened beginning of December. My mom visited for about 3 weeks, and then as my mom left at the beginning of the year, I now have a new person that's staying with me. I think she's staying until the end of the month. So yeah, it's and by the way, I'm not complaining because it's been so much fun to just have. It's been fun to socialize again. I was like, oh my god, that was one of the things I sacrificed in the past 2 years. That took a heavy hit in terms of my day to day, and like it was partially intentional. Where I swear I'm not antisocial, but it was one of those sacrifices that needed to be made. Where it's like, look, I'm not in corporate anymore. I don't have this steady salary. So I have to be very intentional with how I spend my time, especially when it comes to building out content, building out this structure, seeing if this is something I can do for the long haul. So the two things I sacrificed was socializing and going to the gym. And so I'm trying to find balance again with both of them. So yeah, I've been a bit better about going to the gym. I've set some goals. I set a goal on my Instagram story, so it depends how much people, hold me to it. But I did say if I don't hit my highest record deadlifts from a few years ago by 1 month from now, I will chop all my hair off. So that is what I said, if people hold me to it. Mana says, yeah, let's play later, but a 10-minute game so I can actually think. No worries, man. Gotta go. Bye. Thank you very much, Manas, for being here. I appreciate it. And yeah, we'll play again soon. Chill and Connect is here. Hello, Chill and Connect. Thanks for being here. No AWS issues today. And also, I haven't had network issues in a while. Knock on wood. So anyways, but hello, thank you for being here. I am streaming on Twitch. Right now I'm streaming on Twitch and YouTube on Yobel Prize. The one thing I was mentioning, and I'll keep mentioning it, is I'm testing out the vertical live stream on YouTube. So while YouTube has a native function that they released recently, I believe, where you can dual stream on a normal YouTube stream plus a vertical shorts version, it doesn't let you crop or like rescale or do anything with the visual. I think it just literally chops the center part. So what I've tested is within OBS creating a separate vertical live stream where I've formatted and I've designed it to look a certain way. So I appreciate if you guys are on YouTube, if you check it out, let me know. But the point is, hopefully this becomes a new way for people to find my stream and yeah, to help grow the channel. And then the next step will be trying to figure out how can I set up TikTok. So can I do like a TikTok live stream at the same time? And I don't know, I've never really considered Instagram live But what's the harm in doing Instagram live streams? I guess there really isn't any. So that could be the next frontier, right? Is just kind of dabbling in all of these vertical stream content space. And yeah, because now that I know I can set up these kind of vertical formats, it's still not as like functional as the landscape 16:9 viewing. Especially imagine I'm editing a video and you guys can barely see it on a mobile screen, let alone, you know, in the format. So, but for discoverability and for certain modes of what I do, I think it could be good. Chill says, don't say that with AWS and internet issues. Yeah. Why is there a video of me playing on that TV in your background? Oh, are you talking about the gorilla there? What, you think you're the silverback, man? You got to earn that. You got to earn them silverbacks. Okay, so anyways, that's just some quick updates. So what else do I want to briefly mention? So, oh yeah, so I have a new channel called Lo-Fi Catnaps. Here, let me type it in the chat. Lo-Fi Catnaps, one word. I started streaming on there a few days ago, but it's basically a completely standalone YouTube channel, not really associated with me whatsoever, besides the fact that I made it. But it's a channel dedicated to my two cats. So I basically, in my off time, when I'm working, when I'm not streaming, I'll take moments to actually hit the record buttons on both my cameras. So I could record Nala, I can record Kimpop, doing whatever. Usually just they're just chilling there, right? So anytime they're there, if they're grooming themselves, if they're sleeping, it doesn't matter, I'll film it. And then that becomes like the ambient vibes, the visual effects of my YouTube videos. And then I spend a lot of time curating a bunch of music that I think are conducive for a few different modes. One is study mode, one is relaxing mode, and the other is sleep mode. So trying to find music that would fit into those genres, let's say. So one of them is like study mode, so it's like lo-fi beats, that kind of stuff, what you're hearing right now actually. The second one is like a relax mode where I do more like cinematic chill songs, a bit more orchestral, but less percussion-y. And then the sleep music series tends to be very ambient, drone, soft vibes. And then basically I mix it with, you know, this is more warm tone, so this is more study mode, this is more sleep mode, that blah, 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 blah. Anyways, you get it. I had some fun putting this channel together, and now my goal is to just like publish a bunch of content on there across those things and turn it into one of those lo-fi channels. And then the big selling point for me, the big hook that I'm trying to test out now, it's still a very, very small channel, but we got time, okay? The thing I got to test out is, can I build an audience of people who want to watch my lo-fi stream or videos with the relaxing music, whatever, compared to watching a lo-fi girl or lo-fi cat, stuff like that? Because I'm hoping and I'm expecting more people will probably become resistant to AI in content generation space. So as we see the rise of quote unquote AI slop, I wonder if there's going to be a counterculture movement where people are going to push more for like human moments, things that people created, that kind of stuff, right? And so anyways, I have my cats, I have my cameras, I can film all this. Why not create this? And then maybe eventually people will start watching my cats, because they're not AI generated, they're not looped. You just see hours of my cats doing whatever with some music. Give me 1 second, someone's at my door, so I will literally BRB in like. In the game of luck, sometimes you lose, sometimes you win, and sometimes you win bigly. Today was one of those jackpot days. You're about to see one of the most thrilling moments I've ever experienced in the wild. An encounter so close, I could have reached out and petted them as if they were my own cats. But my mama taught me to keep my hands to myself, and wisdom prevailed this day. With that in mind, let's dive into this unforgettable moment together. Okay. Ben asked, are you a variety channel? I have no idea. I do a variety of things, but I guess my main channel, the Yobel Prize, it's more shifted to like, it's more focused for wildlife and travel content. So I do a lot of like photography, videography stuff. So it's a mixture of tech, I guess, in the sense if you call like editing softwares and editing stuff that. But I try to make a mixture of cinematic content based around my travels, and then doing talking head concepts like these live streams, sharing knowledge, that kind of stuff. So I don't actually know what you would call it though. But then, yeah, this is the Lo-Fi Catnaps channel. That's literally just something I did for fun, because I figure the effort required to start the channel was fairly marginal for me, because like I said, I'm streaming. I've got these cameras already set up, right? So it's just a matter. The effort required for me to hit the record button is not that much. And then the effort required to color grade it is not that much, because now it's copy and paste with the style I've already done for them. And then the effort to curate music takes a little bit of time, but I like doing it, right? So anyways, so that is a new thing that I've done recently. I do appreciate if you guys follow the account. I will be posting on there regularly. And so you can imagine in a month's time, 2 months' time, there's going to be hours of these like lo-fi chill music vibe videos. And then I've been live streaming on that channel on the YouTube side when I do my co-working streams. So we can chat about that a bit more as I figure out my streaming schedule. But yeah, so that was my new cat channel. What else do I want to talk about? Oh yeah, I mentioned my editing problem. So I am looking for a good editor. It's just been a nightmare. I won't go into it much this time because we chatted about it in detail last time. Yeah, so you'll see more of me during the co-working stream sessions. And that's usually the opposite of what you're seeing here. Here, I'm just chatting with you guys. And as we, once I'm done with this kind of catch-up mode to start off the year, we're going to be spending a lot more time just going into it, right? Roll up sleeves. We're going to start editing a lot of vlogs, a lot of film content, stuff like that. So it'll be more of a actual learning behind the scenes type of feel. And it's not just for video, it's for photo as well. So I'll be doing like, my photo editing as I do. So it's across both. What else? I mentioned the new camera angle. Yeah. So, sorry. I forgot to, yeah. I was saying that I have the C stand here. So with the C stand, I was thinking I can have it literally above my bookshelf and then reach across to basically be above me. But at the very least, it can be above my two cats here. And I was thinking of setting up either an additional camera. I do have more cameras I can use, or I have a second iPhone potentially I can use. And I just want to hook up an extra camera here that will be like a top-down overhead shot of my two cats. So just adding more, it could look nice. Just when you see both of them sleeping like this, sometimes in the side angle view, it just depends on the angle, right? But you might not really see them. So I was thinking if I do an overhead shot, it could potentially, if I frame it correctly, if I double check the lighting and everything, it might be a nice additional like a screen. So overkill, but could be fun. Ben asked, how did you make your animated cat bumper? Where's my animated cat bumper? Oh, wait, are you talking about on the lo-fi channel or here? Do I have it here? Hold on. I'm assuming you're talking about on the Lo-Fi Catnap channel. If you're talking about the Lo-Fi Catnap channel, basically, it might have been through ChatGPT, but I threw in a bunch of photos of my cats until I could get something that looked like an animated version of my cats. And then I went into Canva, and then on Canva, I had to basically throw it in there, remove the background, and then I basically created some graphics around it. And then I made the title and I chose the colors to make it say Lo-Fi Catnaps. If what you're talking about is the same thing as what I'm talking about. But it is a temporary logo / brand icon, whatever. My goal is that I will eventually hire someone. So I just need to hire someone who can create the graphic for me. Because my goal is like, I don't want to use AI for anything. That's like the one thing of AI that I have on that Lo-Fi Catnaps channel. So then eventually it's just like, look, you're joining my Lo-Fi Catnaps channel. Why? It is the anti-AI Lo-Fi channel, Boom, boom. You don't see that Lo-Fi girl anymore. Forget her. She's so 2016. Forget the lo-fi cat animated, you know, whatever. That is so 2020 whatever. Now you're here for Nala and Kimbap, okay? That's what you're here for. So Swiss says I'm back. Client called about future shoots. Yo, me too. Swiss, we got a lot to catch up on, okay? And that, oh yeah, so depending on how long you're back for, I'm just doing a quick catch up on like things that have happened in the past month and a half or so. One of the things I do obviously need to catch up on is for this year as I start to travel again. And especially I've been putting a lot more energy into this whole live stream concept. So I did make some strides in terms of conversations and also solidifying what the tech would be for this. So if you're here, that's awesome. I'll kind of go over it on stream. I'm just kind of looking at this list of things that I talked about, what I crossed out. Swiss says, I have a few really good graphic designer friends I can put you in touch with. Yeah, for sure, man. I don't know if I can justify... Oh, Ben says, DM me if you want. I edit for 2 different major YouTube channels right now. What kind of edits are we talking about? I gotta tell you, Ben, I've been burned way too many times. I've been burned at least 3 times now trying to find an editor for my YouTube channel. One of them, I was just burned because... The first one, I got burned in the sense that I was disappointed at the language barrier a little bit, but that wasn't a good enough that didn't justify like the amount of silly mistakes that the guy was making for this one task in particular. It's not a testament to his overall skills. It was just this one ask that I had he seemed to struggle with, and it was just getting frustrated. But it was fine. It was fine. I thought he was a good guy and everything. Then the last 2 editors, dude, yeah, I was left speechless by the unprofessionalism, if that's a word, the anti-professionalism of these 2 individuals that I ended up working with, the lack of transparency, the lack of communication, the lack of skill at some points, just everything, the lack of speed, the lack of. But Ben, yeah, so just with that in mind, check out my previous talking head videos. It'll give you a good sense of what I'm looking to do in terms of concepts, like talking stuff. But I'm very, very... I'm going to have like a 30 question interview for you, basically, if we potentially work. Swiss, so yeah, about the graphic designer, I'm definitely game. I'm open to that for sure. I actually hired someone on Fiverr or Upwork, I forget, and he actually created all my new emotes. I have a bunch of new emotes, although on the YouTube side it might not be working properly, of my cats. So this artist, he like created some awesome visuals of my cats. So everything, if someone subs to me, if someone donates to me, if someone does like one of the any of those key actions, if someone raids, you will see these new animated graphics pop up of my 2 cats. So that was really cool. I was thinking I just might ask that person to do the other stuff. But if you've got some people in mind that could do awesome work for me, that'd be great. Now for the Lo-Fi Catnaps channel, I need to be able to justify it first. I've only got like 12 subscribers on that channel, so I'm kind of a cart before the horse type thing on that one. So let's prove the model out. Let's see if after a few months, is it picking up traction? Are people actually enjoying it? And then I think I could justify spending money on that channel. One of them have done work for Disney. Damn, that's pretty impressive. I edit a video podcast and an edutainment channel. Nice, nice. Well, Ben, feel free to send me your stuff on Discord. I pop something in the chat. You can join my Discord channel. It's a fun community. I'm looking to continue to build it out, filled with creatives that can support each other, that kind of stuff. Swiss says, that sucks. This work is all about interpersonal skills. Yeah, like, I mean, listen, I kind of went into it already a little bit. But for instance, one of those editors, the last one I worked with, I even explained to her some of the issues. I explained in detail the issues I had with the previous editor, because obviously I didn't want a repeat of that. And they're like, don't worry, yeah, blah, blah, that's not an issue. But she never told me this, and I'm pretty sure this is true. I'm pretty sure it wasn't just her. She outsources, or she has her own team that works with her or alongside her, because simple mistakes like not knowing how to spell my name, like just the most basic, that's not even the worst of it, but that was more like a, hey, what the heck, how come you spelt your bell prize, but like your Y-O-U-R space bell, like a ding ding bell space prize. How did you put that text anywhere on my video? Like, because we had like an hour-long conversation. She obviously knows my username and handle and everything. So for even something like that to have happened, it threw off so many red flags and alarm bells. And I told her, like, how are you getting my name wrong? That's like the first thing of, like, from a professional standpoint, you should never do. Like, I've worked in corporate. You would never spell the company, the client's name wrong on a presentation or in anything that's supposed to be presentable, let alone, yeah. So anyways, that was like a big red flag. And then she made that mistake again somewhere else with something like, anyways, it was just like all these things where I was like, okay, I don't want to hear from you again. I don't know if I'm going to leave a bad review for her, because I'm also someone that I'm more of like a forgive and forget, just get out of my life type thing or whatever. If she ever stakes claim to the video that she helped me on, that like she did this, then I will absolutely go, scorched earth on her, because like, you will not put your name on any of the best parts of my video. You can put your name on the shittiest parts, and that's it, Okay, I'm getting a little bit too worked up over that. Ben says, sounds like you've definitely been burnt. Yes, if you couldn't tell, it's come on, man. I just want to work with good people, I just want to work with competent, creative people that I feel inspired by, people I know they are the best, or you don't have to be the best, but they're people that are better than me at certain things. So then I feel like I can learn from you. And then we have our niches, we have our roles, simpatico, right? But the biggest thing has to be trust, and it also has to just be like, okay, anyways. Swiss says, did you open up that DM'd image? No, I haven't even opened up Discord. I've been on a tangent here. Another graphic to work on? Okay, let me check it out now. Mindful Grinds is in the chat. Mindful says, nice touch, have the video playing in the background. Nice touch, have the video playing. Oh, are you talking about this guy here? Thank you, man. If that's what you're referring to, you could be referring to a few other things, but yeah, I decided I have enough of this kind of slow content. I guess the term is like slow TV, right? So now, especially with my new Lo-Fi Catnaps channel, where I'm like recording hours of them sleeping in a nice aesthetic vibe, plus my existing videos that I have of like the wildlife, I figured, okay, I can just turn it on in the background and let it play. And now I didn't really think it mattered when I only had this kind of view. Also, if you at the very beginning of my streaming career and journey, I had the camera raised higher up, so it was more like a top-down view. And so the TV back there didn't really show much. I didn't know if it added much value. I guess it doesn't look bad here, depending on whatever is on the TV, because I think right now it's a bit overexposed and all that fun stuff. But then for my Nala camera especially, it turned out pretty nice, because especially for my Lo-Fi Catnaps channel, if you've got 2 hours, a 2-hour video, and you see my cat sleeping here, the only motion you would see is her belly rising up and down just ever so slightly. So you wouldn't really be able to tell that this is a live feed or like a recorded feed. Whereas by having a video playing in the background, obviously now the passage of time is a bit more apparent, and the fact that this is not a still image, but like an actual motion graphic or whatever, like a video. So it had a nice effect. And then depending on what video is playing, you might be able to see some cool wildlife as a nice semi-promo back to my YouTube channel. Mindful says, that is dope. Thank you, man. How many angles are you up to? And also, are you just set up for H.265 SDR for the streams on your cameras? I think I have all my cameras set to either Apple Pro. No, I think it's I have 2 of my cameras set up to NRAW, but it gets downscaled to whatever the Elgato Camlink can consume. So there's not a proper point to it, I guess. But at the very least, it seems like the quality was nice enough where it looks good. It's just like standard tonal mapping, whatever. There's nothing special going on here. It's more from the lighting that I've set up to make it look better, but this is not shooting in like proper RAW. But yeah, and then I think the ZR that I have might be set up in, actually, let me see. I think I can see it here. Yeah, so right now I'm filming this in ProRes RAW, which is that 12-bit format, or the color depth. But again, same thing. I think it might be useless because all of it gets kind of funneled into the filter of whatever this, whatever the pipeline is. I have no idea. I'm not the tech guy for that. But at the very least, I just played around with the features and the quality seemed nice at this. So I was like, let's just keep it. I would love to be able to live stream in R3D. That would be really cool. But I remember at the time when I was setting this up, it didn't seem possible with the gear that I have. Maybe if I have like a more proper capture card, or I have no idea. I honestly, I'm lost. Maple says, yeah, you can't stream with RAW anyways, at least information-wise. HDMI is your bottleneck. Gotcha. Mindful says, so how are you applying color if you're set to RAW? And then Maple says, it'll be the standard profile and maybe 10-bit, but 8-bit is what we see. Gotcha. Yeah, thank you. I can always rely on Maple for the technical breakdown. To your question, Mindful, how am I applying color if you are set to RAW? No, oh, okay, hold on. So I have this at Apple ProRes RAW, but I think it's an SDR. So, because on the Nikon, you have the option to choose NLOG or SDR within each of the codecs, I guess. So for this one, it's not in RAW or like the log format, it's in the SDR. And then within that SDR, I think I just have it set to like the picture control is set to standard. So there are no LUTs or anything. Because Maple, you said you can apply LUTs in OBS. I tried that, man. I was trying to do a bit of that behind the scenes where I was like, okay, let me create some LUTs using my, let's say with the ZR. I have my R3D NE codec. I've created some LUTs, and then I tried to see if I can load it in. I tried both. I tried loading it into my memory card for the ZR camera, and then I tried just loading it into OBS as a filter. But the filter never ended up looking the exact same as the filter or as the LUT that I created. So I'm clearly doing something wrong in terms of what I export or how I export it. There's something, a knowledge gap that I have that I wasn't able to one-to-one recreate the LUT with that codec such that it would look nice on OBS. And I think if I remember correctly, it's been a while. I think the reason was, let's say if I'm shooting with the ZR in R3D, it's still like, to your point, Maple, that the bottleneck might be the HDMI or something. So it doesn't actually come out and into OBS and my PC as an R3D codec profile. It'll probably be like some other, I don't know, something else is the point. So if I made a LUT for R3D, it's not a LUT for the version of the R3D that comes into OBS. Mindful says the bit depth doesn't matter. If your camera's on RAW, it'll be desaturated view. Yes, SDR will apply color. Yeah. So I'm on the SDR. Mabel says, honestly, standard or neutral profile and good lighting exposure in your space looks great. If you can control the lighting, you don't need dynamic range. Yeah, that's something I've slowly been realizing, because you just turn something up or down to balance it. Yeah, so exactly. So this has all been such a fun, it's been really, it's been good learnings for me, because I am very much a practical learner anyways. So to actually see in practice, okay, I'm shooting this in SDR, standard picture control, but the quality can still end up looking nice. And that was because I added certain, intentional lighting choices, or the brightness of it, as you say. And then, and then it's like, oh, cool. Okay. So you don't actually need, like, the power of lighting became more apparent to me from all of this process. So it's not like a, yeah. So anyways, that's been really fun for me. So that's what we got here, right? We got our setup here. This one I changed quite a bit, but now this way it's a bit more eye level. So it's a bit more cinematic. The only issue here is that when my cat's sleeping, obviously the body, you can't really see as much of his body because it's a bit more low angle shot. But what you gain in The advantage here, or the pro, is that it is a bit more of a cinematic shot, because then the background is a bit further away from the cat, so you get that nice separation of the background from the foreground. This is like typically what you are looking for with wildlife shots anyways, right? Because like with wildlife, 9 out of 10 times you're looking for like an eye level shot. So same reasoning, or one of the reason is because it makes the subject look bigger compared to if I shoot top down. But then also it gives you the best chance of having a background really, really far away from the subject, so you have a better separation. Anyways, I don't know if I'm making sense. Swiss says, typically most people don't need more than 5 stops of DR if it was lit well. Shoot, should I know this? What is DR? DaVinci Resolve. 5 stops of DaVinci Resolve. Maple says, yeah, your overall stream setup and design with your layout is great. We have similar tastes. Thanks, man. I think I told you this way early. Oh my God, it's been so long ago now. But I remember when I first joined your community, Maple, and you had a video talking about how to have audio go through different channels or whatever. So like if you're streaming to Twitch, or you can, or if you don't want it in the recorded version, like the VODs versus the stream. And I was like, oh man, you have a really cool home setup. So yeah. When lighting, Mindful says, no way, we need 85 stops of dynamic range and everything on automatic. When lighting, think in layers just like you adjust in Lightroom or Photoshop. Interesting. I've never thought of it that way. That's actually okay. I'm going to start doing it that way. I don't care about seeing the whole cat. I like the angle. We know it's a cat. Fair enough. Dynamic range. Obviously, dude, how, of course. I was just kidding. Obviously, I knew that was dynamic range. What, you think I'm an amateur? Okay, let me reread what you said then. Typically, most people don't need more than 5 stops of dynamic range if it was lit well. Yeah, of course. I knew that. Maple said, oh yeah. This is the way of the greedy camera companies. That being said, 15 stops is awesome when you're out in the wild. Yeah. Oh yeah, so thank you guys for reminding me. Yeah, I guess that was one thing. It's like, if I could shoot this in RAW, then the dynamic range could be better for me to play with in post. But as far as live stream goes, it's fine. I think this worked out really nice. All I'm doing, so basically my setup here is I got Mr. Steampunk. I forget what we named him. For now, I just call him Mr. Steampunk. So obviously we get this lighting coming from him, which is nice. And then above, on a little arm, I've got the Zhiyun X60, I believe. Set to probably 5200 Kelvin, something like that. And I have it pointed slightly towards Nala, but also painting a little bit of Kimbap in the background. So some of that light spills over to Kimbap over here. So then even here, my thought process was we can have ideally I have like a 2-color system, but I want this one to be predominantly cool, and I want Nala's to be predominantly warm for the thematics of it. So like, especially for my Lo-Fi Catnaps channel, because this is more cool tones, it fits with the sleeping music type vibe, whereas the warm tones fits with maybe more like focus mode, was my thought process. So yeah, I have the light up here on a little mini softbox pointed at both of them. Now I have this Yobel Prize signage here with a bit of red lighting, which I don't think adds much in terms of like actual light for Nala, but obviously from this view, it's just nice, a nice touch, I think. And then, was there something else? Yeah, those are basically the main lights. Oh yeah, and then in the background, you can kind of see it behind Mr. Steampunk on the left. I have a Zhiyun, I forget the name of this light, but it's a big bar, like a big LED strip, but it's like an RGB light. So then that one is pumping out some cool tones off the wall, essentially. So I figured that could help with the separation. And then of course we've got on my left, but on the right side of the screen, I have this like a simple smart LED light strip that's, you know, stuck to the top of the cabinet. And I just got a USB-C connected to it. And so just get some warm light over on that side. So yeah, that's basically what you see in these views. And then now the TV, I do have some blue light coming. I have like these LED strips on the right, or not LED, whatever, like some cheap ass light stuff, which honestly, I don't know if I like them or not. I might get rid of it eventually. And then whatever's playing on the TV. Swiss is also correcting me. Dynamic range. Yes, I knew that. I'm sure. When I light a set, I start with the largest, brightest light first and work down the line. Turning one light on and shaping to what I want. Turn it off, then the next light to do the same thing. I think that's a smart way to do it. Doing it this way will really tell you where you are lighting. Controlled light is place light. Yeah. Now, the one issue that I'm having the most is actually this view here. Because through my awesome genetics and also my lack of sleep, I tend to have bags under my eyes. I think especially on this one here. And so I've been trying to figure out how to, I have my primary light, my key, what do you call it? The key light's over here, right? At a 45-degree angle. It's really close to me. I can touch it. And then you can see my other light sources here. I got this free light, a mobile light thing at the summit. So I figured I might as well test it here. But basically what you see is this, right? So this is the lighting I get from the key light, which could be much brighter for sure. So that's something maybe I should consider, is like maybe the key light here needs to just be a lot brighter. But then I just compensate for it with this Elgato, I don't know what you call this. It's like one of those lights from Elgato. So then this adds a bit of fill, but I don't have a good place to place it on the opposite side. And right now, especially with the mic here, it's creating a shadow on my face. So I'm doing a lot of things that I shouldn't in terms of how I'm doing the lighting right now. But it's all in the name of trying to figure out how the hell do I get rid of these bags under my eye. So yeah, there you go. A little bit of vanity here, guys, but yeah, you can see it a lot more right here. So maybe, you know what, I'll do the thing that usually growing up you weren't supposed to do because it was racist towards Asians. But if I'm Asian, I guess I could do it, right? But it's like the opposite of maybe the top part. I'll just hold this down. Yeah. L, what's up? Hello. Hold on. Where were we? Just checking my cat streams here. Maple says, get your ambience set first and build on that. Studio setups are fun for that because you can really dial it in. The ambience set first. Okay. So it says, be careful with cheap lighting, LEDs, and TV lights. Typically, they have very poor CRI, color rendering index. They pour out blue and less red, typically, and that can screw up skin tones. Yeah, like the issue I have is, you can see it here, but just under the TV, I got these two blue strips. And it's fine. It's whatever. It's pretty weak sauce. You can actually see how weak it is compared to the other light that's at a distance. But when I was color grading, it becomes a bit of an issue because you can it's kind of creates splotchy pixels. So it might be better just get rid of them. Elle says, hello from Board Game Night. Hello, Elle. Thank you very much for being here. I don't know if you're still on a streak, but I know you were on a pretty awesome streak watching my stream, so I appreciate it. Maple says, honestly, the fill seems a little bright, and it makes my eyes hurt for you. The moody dark isn't too bad if you want to bring the fill down at all. Okay, let me test that. Mindful says, it was a simple and very cheap podcast. I told him I would mask it out and do my best for extra money. He refused and said it was my fault. I explained that I even horizontally lit as we discussed prior. Yeah. Pure, this is why ideally you just work for yourself, but you know, that's a holy grail. Pure LED primary colors are brutal to work with in post. Yeah, these things look nasty in the color grading. But okay, let me see here. So how do I turn this guy off? How do I turn this off? Yeah, this is like, again, I got it for free from, I think Amazon gave it to me. Oh yeah, Amazon was there. Twitch was, oh, hey, Maple, I got some hopefully cool news for me, sorry. I have so much to do. I need to catch you guys up on a bunch of things. Here, I'm going to turn off the lights for now, and then we'll work our way up first. So this is at its lowest setting. I can pump it 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. We'll try this for now. Yeah, cool news for me, not you, Maple. Swiss says, offline, send me a photo of your lighting rig and I can send over some enhancements to make. Yeah, I will definitely do that. Appreciate it. And I need to check your Discord message. I've just been in one mode so far. We already get some warm fill from the neon sign in the back. Gotcha. This is better? Okay. And I got this, I gotta move this chat box, but I say it as if I can't change it. Okay, let me move this chat box. Where are you? Okay. Anyways, you can also warm the temp up on the fill. The thing is, my fill, this guy, is just one of those like 2 light sources, right? You just get a cool and a warm. I don't even know which button you hit for that. This one maybe? Nope. This one. Yeah, so you just get like a warm and a cool, but I felt like the warm just makes me look even more orange or like yellowy, right? Clearly. So, anyways, that was the thought process. Here, let me do it again. 1, 2, 3. 3? Was it on 3? I forget. Agreed that fill needs to be gelled. Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of things I need to do, to be fair. Chat over to the left is way better. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, it does look better. Mindful used a fully diffused 85 centimeter softbox horizontal so that it would not create shadows. Yeah, I have a 80. I think mine is an 85 centimeter softbox. The problem is I don't have space. I can't lower it any further because my monitor is in the way. So if I lower it any further, it would be in front of my monitor, which then means I can't fully see my monitor. That's makes 0 sense. Yeah, because I'm obviously in my home here, my apartment, and it's not like the largest. So I'm operating off of a corner desk at a corner of my living room space. So I'm just yeah, I'm doing my best in terms of like where I could place the light, but I can't lower it. I can't move it anywhere else most likely. So I'm kind of stuck with that as my option. It's just more a question. Maybe I should increase the brightness. Get a... Mabel says 3 is nice. Oh, I forgot what I said here. Let me try it again. So this is 1, 2, 3. Thank you guys. Fill needs to be gelled. Get a 1/8 straw or CTO gel, 3 or 4. Otherwise, it's like a flashlight in your face. Yeah, and I just need to move it. Unfortunately, I got to move it out so the microphone doesn't create a shadow. But then now I just got to figure out what to do with my bags. Guys, donate a lot of money to me so I can afford that Korean plastic surgery, guys. That light makes it seem like you are in front of a computer screen, which I am. Technically, I get what you're saying though. 1 by 1 foot sheet of CTO gel is all you need, or a better fill light. Yeah. And the thing is, I don't have space, so I literally just set the light on my desk. Yeah. Anyways, dude, for streaming, your lighting is better than probably 90%. Doing great. Yeah, for sure. I'm not saying this as like, yo, this is shit, guys. Obviously, I want to find ways to do it better, and ideally, I can follow proper technique, and then understanding my limitations. It's a fun way to adapt. The no LED 4x4 LED panel with diffusion. Let's look this up. No LED. Oh yeah, so okay, Maple, since you are a proper Twitch streamer, one thing I wanted to briefly mention, I don't think I have in my notes here. Do I? Well, I guess I crossed it out, but let's uncross it. So I was at this thing called the 1 Billion Followers Summit, and a bunch of big streamers were there. Not streamers, mostly big content creators. So Mr. Beast was there, a few local kind of big guys. Will Smith was there. Dan Clancy, the CEO of Twitch, was also there. I was mere feet away from him, but I didn't take a picture with him. But yeah, Twitch had a booth, or like they had their own space. YouTube was there. TikTok was there. Snapchat was there. There was a bunch of booths. I didn't have a lot of time to try to explore because I was there for a job. But I did end up going into the Twitch area, and I met the team. Apparently it's fairly new, but I met the people that are managing the entire region essentially. And so they recently started a community for the UAE. And I was able to chat with, again, the guys who are running it all. And I think they seemed really positive when I was, because I wasn't expecting to have like a direct chat with them. I was talking to someone else, and then she's like, hey, blah, blah. She called the guy over and was like, you should talk to this guy. He does really cool wildlife travel stuff. And then they put me into a meeting room and I got to speak a bit further. Now, they could just say this to butter everybody up for all I know. But the guy in the brief conversation I had with him was like, yo, love your stuff. And yeah, like, well, you should definitely attend some of these other meetups we're going to do, and we'll see how we can support you as you want, like, to grow to be a partner and stuff like that. So yeah, point is, they voiced positivity about the content that I'm doing or what I'm trying to do. So it's not like a guarantee that all of a sudden, like, wow, we're going to be successful. But it was nice to know that there is like a team that's out here that's trying to support streamers, because I didn't think Dubai was really known for that kind of like live streaming kind of stuff. So anyways, it was good to see that they're putting effort into the region. And hopefully, now that I know these people, let's see if they put their money where their mouth is. I'm obviously committed to streaming and just improving as much as possible. Let's see if they're just talking shit, blowing smoke up my ass, or are they actually, are they actually interested in building up creators like myself, and the niche that we're in, right? Like this kind of photography, video related stuff, not like gaming and stuff. So anyways, I'm saying stuff a lot. Let me just quickly catch up here. Screwing around with lighting. Oh, sorry, Swiss, you gave some suggestion as well. So there's something called the NOLED. And then you said F600 BI 2x2, 2Z2, 2x2. Okay. Thank you. Let's check that out. Mabel says, screwing around with lighting in the stream space makes you learn so much for when you actually get on the job. Yes. Now, there's one particular thing, and that's why Swiss, I was like, yo, you had a conversation as well. There's someone who reached out to me. Nothing guaranteed yet. And I honestly can't speak further because it is one of those where they had you sign an NDA from the get-go. But it sounds like the things that I'm doing, sometimes I feel like, am I following the right strategy here? Because I'm doing too many random things all at once. So there is a point to, some of my friends call me out on this. I call myself out on it. I need to specialize more. I need to like dedicate towards one specialty. So I always have that thought in the back of my mind. But anyway, someone had found me through my YouTube video, one of my YouTube series that I made. And then from there, stumbled upon my website, blah, 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 reached out to me. And so while nothing is guaranteed, but yeah, it could be a nice project that I might be a part of, and it could lead to more like future awesome projects. Did I say products? It doesn't matter. So anyways, that was another side note as I catch you guys up on things as much as I can. So Swiss, hopefully the project you were talking about, hopefully that becomes fruitful. But obviously I want to work with all you guys. Maple, I know you do the IRL streaming and stuff. I have been treating that seriously. I'll catch you guys up in a second. I'm way behind. What else was I talking about? Oh yeah, let's see. Yeah, so you'll learn a lot from screwing around with lighting in the stream space. Absolutely. Swiss says, agreed, his lighting isn't horrible at all, but we're here to give him next level advice. Absolutely. So he can be Gerald Undone. Oh, does he stream Gerald Undone? That guy, the few videos I've seen of him, I'm like, yo, this guy, I can never get to that level of technical knowledge. But the other things I could strive to be like him. Gerald is using Sony A1 Mark IIs in 4K. What? Mabel says, straight up, the more effort you put in yourself pre-connections with big people, the more they'll be down to help you because you've done more yourself. Yeah. I was referring to his lighting, not his poor choices in cameras. Nice. Mabel says, also UAE and Saudi Arabia, etc., are heavily trying to be more approachable to Western audiences by pushing human rights violence under the rug. Yeah, I have hold on, let me read the rest of what he said. They have a lot of money and they're putting effort into supporting creators that will say they're cool, actually. I have I try my best not to infuse controversial topics into my streaming for obvious reasons, you can imagine. It's not to say I don't have my own opinions. It's just like, I don't necessarily want to build a space where, people get into heated conversations like that. If we get heated about Nikon versus Sony or whatever, some random bullshit where it's like, it doesn't really matter much, I'm totally fine with that. but yeah, I've had some interesting thoughts in my own head about like, you know, those kinds of things. Like, what are my thoughts on Saudi, UAE, and that level? The only thing I will say though is that there is a notion of, without necessarily judging certain actions or certain moments, if there's one positive thing I would say is that there seems to be a positive direction that a lot of these countries are going towards in terms of being more open or accepting. Yo, Fritz, thank you very much for the sub on YouTube. Yo, thank you very much. And you guys got to see some of my new emotes, or I don't know what you call it, graphics with my cats that pop up and everything. Again, shout out to, I forgot his name. I got to look it up. An artist I found on Fiverr. I need to put that somewhere. It's all good. Just know where your I can be bot line is if you have one. Yeah, thank you for subscribing, man. Fritz Van Digical. Yo, what a name. I'm trying to think, what country would that be? Fritz. Is that like a Van? Is that German? Is that, you know what? I'm calling out my ignorance here. But yeah, the main point I was going to say is that I think that if there's one positive you can always look to is that are these countries, are these cultural movements that are happening, are they moving in a positive direction, negative direction, blah, blah, blah. And overall, I would say there's nothing wrong with certain places becoming more accepting of different things, including like, let's say, westernizing, if you will. I'm not saying becoming fully Western is always best, but when it comes to, let's say, a bit more like liberal mindset around like free speech or I don't know, just being a bit more like yeah, okay, you know what, you guys get the point I'm trying to say. I'm glad that there's a positive direction that some of these places are going towards, and hopefully, you know, now going back to streaming, hopefully that's a good sign of they're investing more time into the streaming community, because yeah, obviously I'm a part of it, and to me streaming is kind of like a neutral environment, and I appreciate all of you fellow streamers, including myself. I do my best to be more of the positive streamer, not like, even that's why, yo, listen, Maple, I have a mad respect for you, Cyronius, doing those types of like not travel really, but like the IRL live streaming, right? Doing it for arts or doing it for that kind of reasoning. I think that's cool, and I kind of wish that would be more of the norm. I feel like every once in a while you pop on whatever social media where they talk about the latest viral content from live streamers, and there's so much of it these days that are IRL, and they happen to be like the most is bottom feeding the right way to say it? It's like the gutter of the gutter type of content creators, where they're like, it's like their whole existence and how they make money is to be as controversial as possible, be as loud as possible, but like in a way that you're, you know, just being intrusive to your environment. So I do appreciate streamers like you guys who, you guys are here for the vibes, for the arts and crafts. It's all good. Just know where you're. Oh yeah, sorry about that. I didn't mean to make you take a stance and have a statement ready. Listen, I don't have a gun to my head, I swear, but I am also living in the heart of a place where, you know, I just gotta be careful. I'm not in the US, okay? You know, you can't just film people on the street just because you want to, right? There's a lot of things like that you can't do. So I'm trying to be mindful of that. It's more just keeping an eye on where the money's coming from and if they're using you for their whitewashing. Yeah, exactly. It's a really good point. But I guess, because I also like to be, I don't like to be controversial, but I like to have conversations, maybe not on stream per se, that are trying to push the envelope a bit, like not necessarily devil's advocate, but like kind of really thinking through why is that really bad. So I don't disagree with you, but in a world where you end up whitewashing something that historically was bad, but the benefit that comes from it could be that a whole culture or a whole country or a whole whatever does improve and does actually become more positive, or like you see more of the positive change you want. Then it's one of those, it's, you know what, bringing it back to wildlife, it's the whole concept of hunting, right? When you think of like trophy hunters and things like that, on a visceral level, there's a lot of that I don't agree with. especially as someone who obviously I'm a wildlife photographer, things like that. But I also can't deny the fact that there is a whole industry, and like these national parks, some countries even make so much money that goes into the preservation of the nature and the wildlife and the conservation, all that, that comes from trophy hunters who pay exorbitant amounts of money to go hunt something. And so there's like this world of like when you legalize, or when you I guess like legalize, but when you bring it into the fold, I guess there's a word for this I can't think of. But yeah, when you then take something like that and legalize it to a way that you are essentially putting a stamp of approval on, saying like, yes, you can go out there and trophy hunt within certain regulations and parameters. But and the person that might be trophy hunting, it's may not be someone that you'd be like, you're doing it for the right reasons. Maybe it could be like completely unethical, blah, blah, blah. But they're paying this kind of money, and that money then goes to like actually the survival of that whole species, or, you know, like something crazy like that. Then we live in this weird gray bucket where it's like, I just don't know. It's fascinating to think about. But yeah, anyways. Maple says that's anywhere, not just UAE. Exactly. Formula Fortnite, yo, long time no see. Thank you for being here, Formula, and Happy New Year. Yeah, it's been, we won't make the dad joke, but glad to see you in the new year. This is I think my third or fourth stream in this mode since the start of the year, but I am treating this like my first stream back, because I'm back to the grind of it. I'm back to the routine. So you guys should be seeing me regularly, same time as usual. Excuse me. Mindful says, be authentic, not loud. Yeah. Yes. Unless you're... Okay, no. I agree. L is in the chat. Thanks again, L. I forget what your streak is. Hopefully your streak is still there. Kavai is in the chat as well. Kavai says, first stream back, Pog. Yo, yes. We're going to call it the first stream back, even though that's a lie. Happy New Year, bro. How are you? I'm doing very well. I was I'm realizing this is a trend. I just am slow with everything. As some of you guys like to call me out on, I'm slow with reading chat. I'm slow with getting to the point. And I'm also just slow at, okay, whatever. So yeah, I've been doing well, Formula. And for today's stream, I've been mainly just doing catch up, just kind of catching you guys up to speed, what's happened in the past month and a half. I was briefly talking about this 1 billion follower summit, which was very fruitful. Like I said, I got to meet some of the Twitch staff that's apparently now trying to put real foundational roots in the region. So fingers crossed if that means that, you know, there'll be more support here, and just another ear that I can, you know, whisper into about like, hey, you know, blah, blah, blah. Can you help me with this? Or I don't know, right? So the 1 billion follower summit was great. This was also my first time doing a podcast hosting. This is my first time hosting a podcast. So a company reached out to me asking if I'd be willing to be an interviewer for some of the English influencers that would come by. And so they set up a little podcast booth, and yeah, it was honestly, it wasn't as stressful as I thought maybe it would be, because I've never done that before. I never thought that I don't know. It was just never something I've done. So I was really happy I did it, and it turned out nice, I think. I will be able to, I think they're going to send it to me, and then I can publish it on my YouTube channel, stuff like that, if it makes sense. But yeah, basically I interviewed maybe like 4 to 5 people across 3 days. So it was like, you know, not that big of a commitment. And usually the interviews maybe lasted about 30, 40 minutes. And so it was really fun. So, and also as part of that, I got to learn a bit more about how you do podcasting. So they had like a A10 Mini ISO Pro, and they had the Rodecaster Duo, I think it was, for the audio switching. So I was learning a little bit, and I was actually able to see in practice, like, how are you using this? And I got to brainstorm a bit further about what kit that I need for when I start doing my travel live stream. So I'll get into that in a second. But yes, Kavai, welcome back as well. Hopefully you've had a wonderful start to your year. One quick thing for the Twitch people, if it's been a while, I have new emotes, I have new badges, I think, or like the badges, and I have new animations. So if you like do whatever donation subs, things like that, you should now start seeing new things pop up, and they are of my lovely cats. So I had an artist create some really cool graphics for me. So yeah, fun stuff there. So that's a new thing on the Twitch side. On the YouTube side, I'm testing out vertical live streaming. So if you go to my YouTube channel, you will see that there are 2 streams that you might be able to watch. One is in vertical format and one is in the landscape. And so I'm still kind of in a research mode and testing mode. But if this works out, my goal is to keep doing that because obviously, hopefully it'll help with the reach. But then I want to bring this to Twitch and maybe Instagram. I'm not sure. So yeah, we'll see. You may be slow, but at least you're consistent. I'm consistently slow. I accept. Like the tortoise, right? I accept. Wow, says Kavai. Yes. Wow. It's okay. 1 billion follower summit. Great stuff. Let's move on. Mini PC. Oh yeah, I bought a mini PC here, which is going to be part of my setup for the live stream, the travel IRL live stream, which I think we're going to get into. Maybe I should get into it next. Let me just see what else I wrote down here. Oh yeah, new diet. Which is not Dubai chocolate. My mom loved Dubai chocolate. Everyone loves Dubai chocolate. So, new diet, aka no more rice / carbs. Sad face. Yeah. So, I was starting a new diet, but then my mom was here. So, as good mothers do, she got me more fat, not less, because she kept feeding me. But now that she's gone, I'm back to like a proper clean diet. And one thing I'm going to challenge myself at the start of this year is, can I actually say no to rice? And that might be the hardest thing I'll ever say I just can't imagine my life without rice. So this might be the greatest challenge of my life that you guys are going to witness. But I basically decided I'm going to cut out rice. It may not be entirely, but to me it feels like that because my dinner is usually meant like white rice and then chicken or beef or whatever. I've come up with this new recipe, a Yobel Prize recipe. I came up with this shit. Gemini helped me out a little bit to kind of map it out. But I came up with my own recipe that I eat, and it's pretty delicious, right? It is 500 grams of Wagyu ground beef, right? We go primo for that. And then, although it doesn't really make sense because it's already tenderized, or it's like, it's ground beef. So anyways, ground beef, Australian Wagyu, 500 grams. 500 grams of diced chicken breast. 3 bell peppers. I think 400 grams of mushrooms. And then onion, a large onion, kimchi, and 3 bags of frozen cauliflower rice. And I make all of this in my Instant Pot because my stove doesn't even work. I never activated the gas. So... because honestly, it's not even that expensive. Like, to run the gas is cheap. If you guys want the real reason why I didn't activate the gas in my apartment, I have this, I recognize that this is absurd. I'm not sure. It's not logical or rational. I have an irrational fear of gas stoves and stuff like that, that somehow I'm going to hit the wrong button or something's going to blow up, right? It's going to blow up eventually. I have this irrational fear. I never really voiced it out loud, but now that I think about it, I'm like, honestly, that's why. I just didn't want to have gas running in my freaking apartment. It doesn't make any sense, but anyways. So I don't have a functioning stove. I just got my microwave. I got this pot that you can boil water in like continuously. Like an electric one. And then I have my Instant Pot and rice cooker. So the Instant Pot, you put in saute mode. You just dump all the ground beef in first, which then, starts rendering all the fat. The juices come out. So then when you put the chicken in, you don't need to put any oil. You don't have to do anything. It's just you're cooking it in the beef fat. So it's so simple. Then you salt and pepper and you throw all the other shit in and boom, there you go. And then I freeze a bunch of it, put in and then this is my dinner. So I'll let you guys know how it's going. I have about 5 kgs, which is about 10 pounds of fat that I need to lose. So yeah, there you go. Mindful says, your bell stew. Just kidding, yo bell stew. Yeah. I try to make it not like a stew, though. I've tried to dehydrate it a bit. Okay, anyways, who cares? I've already crossed that out. Okay. Now, let's talk about my travel IRL live stream concept. So some of you guys know this already because I've been talking about it a bit more and more towards the end of last year, but it's the reason I got into live stream in the first place is I don't think where my butter is breaded, where my bread is buttered, where my bread is buttered. That's not even the right thing I was trying to say. My focus has been around traveling and wildlife for the most part. And that hasn't changed. I love traveling. I love capturing stories from around the world. And it's something I say in my YouTube videos. I mean it. I coined it myself, but it's sharing the best of the world with the rest of the world through my lens. So that is what brings me joy. It's what brings me purpose, I guess, in terms of why I do what I do. And that's number one goal. As part of that, I remember over a year and a half ago, I was taking a honeymoon client out to Zimbabwe and Uganda. And there is a few moments, this happened before, but this is one of those direct moments where the elephant in Zimbabwe walked through the lodge. Like there's this opening and the elephant literally, they're just walking through, and then some of them came up to the lodge and reached over because there were some mango trees and they were trying to grab it. It's like such a cool moment to have this beast of an animal strolling past you. And you got to be careful. Like some of them charge. You do have to be careful. So the best I could do was take my shitty iPhone and hit live on Instagram, and they had a Starlink, but it was still pretty spotty at times. It wasn't the best. It's a freaking iPhone and all that. But I remember having those thoughts back then of like, man, I wish I can somehow share these moments for people in real time in the best quality possible. Cause, it's such a moment about the world that most people don't ever get the chance to witness, but it's not to make people feel worse that they can't witness it, but it's more of like an eye-opening of like, this is the world, right? And so hopefully it adds more wonder. So, and it's also crazy. And so that was like one of those moments where I was like, I need to figure out how to be a live streamer. I need to figure out how to live stream and if it's possible in the future. David is back. David says, yo, Bell, how you keep the ZR exposed right in the wild? What NDs you rocking? How do you keep the ZR exposed right in the wild? Thank you for asking, by the way. And it's very timely because I actually had a company reach out to me. As far as I can tell, it is not a scam. They just asked, yeah. So anyways, I'm assuming it's not a scam, but what is this company? Wow, I should know this. Hold on a second. Here, let me not share that screen. Let me find this. They just reached out to me and they're sending me one of their products. What is it? Oh my God. Oh, it's here. Okay. Freewell. There's a company called Freewell Gear that reached out to me. Okay. Freewell Gear. I'll type it in here. I'm not recommending this, by the way, David, to your question. I just want to type it in so I don't forget. So Freewell Gear, they're sending me one of their latest ND filters, variable ND filter and polarizer. I think it's all in one, for testing purposes. And so that'll be interesting. Now, Swiss said Nissi, and I think from my research, it seems like Nissi is probably top of the line. So there is that. But the ones that I use are the Polar Pro variable ND filters. And I do really like them because they're well designed. They function more than just the ND filter for me. They operate as like lens hoods as well. Because I absolutely hate, with pure passion, I hate lens caps on my lenses. I don't know if it's just a Nikon thing. I just freaking hate those lens caps where you got to squeeze it and then put it in there, because sometimes I feel like you don't get it on there, it falls off easily, you scratch the lens, all kinds of things. Here, I'll show you the ones that I use though. Hold on, let's switch over. Swiss, you said Starlink just announced they're getting licensing for gigabit service with the Mini. Oh snap. Yo, Swiss, I do need to have a chat with you off stream maybe about some about the live streaming and stuff as well. And anyways, there's a few things I need to catch up on, and then some things I'll talk about now. Freewell is good too, but I like the Nissi's connection system better. Swiss says 100% use them too. However, I don't like the green cast I was getting with the Polar Pros. I haven't, maybe because I haven't tested a bunch of other filters, so I can't really compare. I've never seemed to have issues with the Polar Pro filters though, or I'm never like feeling like it's something I can't fix in post or whatever. Give me a second. Let me find the filters in my bookshelf here. Here it is. Let me cover my eyes. This is the Polar Pro variable ND filter. I think this is the one. Yeah, this one has a built-in polarizer as well as the ND filter. I think it goes from 2 to 5 stops. This is the Peter McKinnon one. This is back when I had a corporate job, so I was a bit more liberal with spending my money on expensive things. So, yeah. But it is fantastic. It is fantastic. And the thing I was saying that I like about this is the magnetic... So this thing right here, and they put a nice, beautiful little F on there so you can never get it wrong. But this is the front cap. So then I can just easily put it on the adapter, and everything's magnetic. So instead of having my silly ass, the squeegee little lens caps, you just literally line it up to the white line here. Where is it? Yeah, my eye. Whatever. The point is you just like magnetic and then twist, and it stays on there, and it's beautiful. So I found that so much more useful out in the wild than those lens caps. Everyone, let's admire Nala real quick. Wow, beautiful girl. Look, it's the evolved, or I don't know, would you say less evolved? Or it's a primal version of her in the back on the TV. There's Simba in the background, Nala, and then there's you. Good girl. Okay. Freewell is good too, but I like the Nissy's connection system better. 100% use them too. Yep, gotcha. Let's schedule a call sometime. Yes, of course. And then, okay, so here's what I was saying though. I've been meaning to go into travel live streams, but it was always an impossibility for 2 reasons. One, I'd never streamed before, so I didn't know the first thing about how do you do a live stream. This is back in the day, right? And then number 2 was I just assumed the places that I travel, there is no internet. So what's the point? I can't actually connect to do a real live stream, like a real-time stream. So then I was like, okay, that's actually the main reason, but at least with these 2 reasons, there's no point in me even trying, or it's an impossibility. However, I remember I was in Zimbabwe, and as I was streaming on my phone for that moment, and it wasn't the most stable connection, but then it led to me having chats with the staff members at the lodge about like, yo, how are you doing this? And they're like, oh, we're using a Starlink. And then there's a few other people using Starlinks that I met on my travels. So then that started getting some thoughts in my head of like, oh, are we close? Is the day coming where Starlink is a lot more accessible from a consumer standpoint and has more reach in different markets where I could actually see value out of it? So that was question number 1. That I was like, oh, okay. Well, can we take your Starlink, and if we hook it up to a Jeep, can I actually use it on a stream? So those thoughts started to come through. I was starting to brainstorm with them about like, is that a possibility? And so yeah, I left it at that, came home, did a few more travels, blah, blah, blah. But it was always now in the back of my mind of like, I need to keep learning about this. So then once I was done with all my trips, that's when I said, let me start live streaming. And so when I did my first live stream back in August, yes, there's a part of me that was like, I want to do this to see, can I do live streaming? Technically speaking, do I enjoy it? Is this something I think I can continue growing as part of my strategy, blah, 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 from home? But it was always a question of like, well, then can I take this with me on my trips? And we are now at that day and age where it is possible. It just requires a shit ton of money to do it. But stars are starting to align for me in the sense that I do have a lot of my gear here. I have started to get more into video stuff. And I have a few companies that I've worked with a bit more and more that actually makes it a bit more of a reality to secure some of this gear necessary to make it economically feasible. So anyways, rambling a little bit here and there. My point is that hasn't gone away. I've been putting more thought into it. Here's my current thinking. It's going to be a 3-camera setup. I'll have 2 Nikon ZRs. Let's say in the first few pilots or instances, I'll be doing this in African safari land. So imagine like rigging up a Jeep as like the first test case. I'll have two ZRs, one pointing forward, one pointing internal. So you can see like kind of like, yeah, so imagine one would be like this, but from a different angle. So you can actually see me as I'm shooting or talking to the guide and blah, blah, blah. And then you'd have a second view that would be more like the front angle view of wherever we're driving. And then I have my camera. I haven't decided if it'll be the ZR or the Z9, but then there's some wireless kits. So one of the guys I was talking to, there's like a Hollyland, what is it called? A Hollyland Mark something, or Mars, Hollyland Mars 4K, blah, blah, blah. And it's like a wireless HDMI transmitter receiver. So I'm thinking maybe that could be, or I just do an additional HDMI connected to the switcher, but it could be a wireless one for my main camera that I shoot with. That way I don't have to worry about cables as I move the camera around. So then someone watching my stream would have a view at all times of something, whether it's my camera view or the rigged up Jeep cameras. And then I initially was, Swissy said Hollyland Pyro 4K. Initially we were talking about the Pyro. There was one issue with the Pyro potentially at the time, or maybe it was a faulty unit when I was testing it. But I think with the Pyro 4K, there's like a USB-C input, but it's not there to charge the unit. I think it's maybe just for like transferring data or something. Whereas I think maybe the Mars does allow you to charge the unit without a battery, just by the USB-C. I could be wrong. I'm not actually sure. This is like a brief conversation we were having. Because my thought was like, yo, it'd be nice if I didn't have a silly HDMI cable sticking out of my camera when I'm on a Jeep. I don't care for the rigged up cameras, the two ZRs, because that's going to be rigged up. It's stationary at all times. It's fine. I just avoid the cables. But if I'm having a camera in my hand where I might be moving to another seat, I'm going from the front of the view to the side view, or I flip it vertical. There's so many things where it's like, ideally I could have zero cable sticking out. So I was thinking a wireless HDMI might make more sense. David said, nice, that workflow sounds clean. Thanks. I'm happy to share, man. And like I said, we got people in the chat who are like very, very knowledgeable. So if it's not me, there'll be other people. So feel free, if you haven't already, you can join my Discord, ask questions there, or share your work, things like that. Oh man, I am getting sick. Yeah, so either it's the Pyro or maybe this Mars one. Swissy said, I need to test that with mine. I have both systems. Oh, okay. Well then, yeah, if you tested it, let me know. But yeah, that was my thought process, is there be a Mars or the Pyro wireless HDMI connected to my main camera. So whether I'm in photo or video mode, if we switch to that camera, people see exactly what I'm seeing. So that'll be a nice feature. So then that means I might not need to do the FTP function. Initially, I was thinking I need to do the live FTP and it'd be so that people can actually see the photo that I capture. However, I think this might be a better solution, because with the HDMI or wireless HDMI, if I just switch to that camera view, you literally are seeing what I'm seeing. So who cares if it's like the photo still or the actual visual throughout? I think the FTP, it kind of loses its luster, if you will, if they can just see the video at all times from my point of view. And the excitement is still there because you're seeing how I'm positioning the camera, you're seeing the motion, how I track things. So it still would have value even if you don't see the thing I snap. Plus, because it's just connected via HDMI or wirelessly, I can always hit the playback button or like go to the image folder, and then I can just scroll myself and show the photos so people can see it. So anyways, I realized that as I thought it out, and once I saw some of the units, and I was like, okay, the FTP is not necessary. But the point is, it'll be 3 cameras at least, maybe some action cameras. They will all hook up to the Rodecaster video. So right now, that's my current thought, is I will go with the Rodecaster video, because it seems like the 2 options I was thinking about was the Rodecaster video or the ATEM Mini ISO, the ISO Extreme G2, which is a mouthful. The G2, I guess, came out more recently, and it has a lot more functionality. It's a lot more powerful, and it's a lot more expensive. I think it allows up to like 8 inputs or something like that, whereas the Rodecaster video, I think, is 4. However, from some of the other ChatGPT research or like internet research, and from some of you guys, the thing I didn't realize at the time that was important is that the ATEM is good for video switching. It's more notoriously bad when it comes to audio mixing and all that, audio switching. So for instance, if I'm out in the wild and I've got a wireless mic hooked up to me, one hooked up to the guide, and let's say whatever, we have at least 2 microphones hooked up in the cameras. If we're in a moving vehicle, if I'm out and about, it's going to be windy. It's going to be a lot of just ambient sounds that get picked up. It sounded like, I could be wrong, but it sounded like with the Rodecaster, they are more like a sound mixer with some video switching capabilities, whereas the ATEM is a video switcher with some audio capabilities on the side. And with the Rodecaster, it seems like they have a few more functionalities or features that can clean up audio in real time, which is a nice feature if it's true. So that way for like a live stream, that's where it matters, right? Because obviously you're not going to see a post-production, you're watching it live. So if the Rodecaster actually can do nice cleanup with the audio, so again, I'm speaking out of my ass, but like if it can actually help with any of the wind sound, or if it can help with like just leveling out the audio a bit better in real time, that's a huge win. So, and also the other reason I was thinking the Rodecaster video makes more sense is that it's a single unit. My switching requirements are not special. It's mostly just going to be a full screen view of whichever camera that we choose at the time. Maybe like a picture-in-picture. I think for a pilot and stuff, it doesn't have to be crazier than that. So video switching doesn't really require much craziness. The audio is where it gets complicated. And because it's one unit, I'm most likely going to have like a flight case, like a Pelican or a Nanook case. And so the fewer units I have to figure out how to assemble and put inside the box, the better. So that way, if I have my Nanook case, we've got the Rodecaster video on a aluminum base plate, then a mini PC needs to be there somewhere. And those are the 2 main things. And then like the receivers for the microphone, maybe stuff like that. And then space for the ventilation, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so there's like those kind of things that I need to figure out. But having just the Rodecaster do video and audio switching compared to having an ATEM plus buying extra stuff to do the sound quality management, it seemed like extra work. So Fed is in the chat. Fed says, howdy, I thought Gerald was using A7 IVs. Maybe he changed it up for some reason. I think all the Sonys can do that ugly purple setup with magenta skin. Seems like it was made for Sony color profiles. Oh man, yeah, because someone made a comment about Gerald Undone earlier. I'm assuming that's what you're referring to, but I already forgot what that was about. Welcome, Fed. Thanks for being here. Oh no, I've seen you before, but Happy New Year. I'm treating this like my first stream back. This is going to be the first stream of my consistent streaming, should be a way I say it. Because now I'm done with the summit. I'm done with some of those other random things that were kind of making me bounce around a bit. So now I'm back to my regular schedule, if you will, of daily streaming. Although that's something else I do need to do a bit of brainstorming, is figuring out like what's my new schedule. Because now I decided I want to do more co-working. And then the question becomes, when is the best timing to do the co-working? When is the best time to do my normal stream? Yeah. Mindful says, Fed, he went over the A1M2 recently, but he has the A1M1 on for some time now. He did have an A7 IV as well at one time. I did see what's that one guy, Matt Hapogi? He switched over to Nikon, right? Or I don't know if I actually properly watched his video. I could have sworn I saw he said I'm switching from Sony to Nikon. They all look the same to me. Nice. Okay, so that's my quick catch up. So like I said, there's a lot of things I'm doing behind the scenes where I'm trying to make this travel IRL live stream a reality in the coming, let's say at least in 2 months from now is my goal, is to like do this properly. Now, before I do it out in a country in Africa, I also might try to test a miniature version of this within Dubai, or like doing a road trip in Dubai or going to one of the neighboring countries. and then doing a live stream. So then you guys hopefully would enjoy it, but maybe I'll try to do a live stream with a buddy of mine where we just go off-roading or we go desert camping, and I'll be testing, can I live stream at the same time as showing all that? And like maybe I'll test by putting the ZR, rig it up to the interior of the Jeep. Maybe I'll set up a second camera. I don't know. Point is, I'll be doing some kind of piloting. So yeah, you guys will see me from starting from scratch all the way to when we do the high production stuff. It'll be fun, I swear. Mati has FX3 mostly, but it has added the ZR. Gotcha. All the Sonys look the same because everyone uses the S Cinetone. Okay. I think that covers most everything. Let's see here. Oh yeah, I was starting to do a bit of recap. We're already like 2 weeks into January, so it feels a little late to do a recap of last year. So suffice to say, last year was every year tops the last, and I feel like last year's no different. Where I had a lot of wins under my belt. I had a lot of unique experiences that I got to a lot of things I got to experience that are extremely memorable, extreme milestones in terms of my development. So I'm very, very happy for how 2025 went. Obviously, there's room for a lot of improvements, but overall, just in the name of gratitude, it's definitely been one of good learnings. Live streaming being one of the biggest ones, right? So having fun with these live streams, meeting awesome people like yourselves, trying to build this community. Yeah, so it was definitely the foundational year. And so for me, 2026, the main goal, oh shoot, I put it here as be faster at reading chat. This is not realistic that I'll be able to do this, but you know, it's ambitious. So hopefully goals for 2026, be faster at reading chat, or don't go on multi-tangents in the convos, or take ADHD medication. So we'll see which one of these I do. I do have a whole YouTube strategy that I'm trying to figure out now. Oh yeah, Swiss says open up that Discord DM. Yes, hold on. Where the hell is Discord? Oh man, I am so congested. Is it possible to get sick in a matter of like 8 to 10 hours? Because I was out last night with some filmmaker community and we were smoking shisha. And I wake up in the morning and I feel like I can feel my throat and everything close up. So I was like, is it really just from the shisha session? Or I don't think that's how body science works, right? I must have gotten sick a day or two earlier. I gotta blow my nose. And then I want to see this thing that Swiss had sent across. Give me a second. Let me just blow my nose. Here's my cat in the meantime. Okay, we got the heavy duty stuff out here. All right, Swiss sent something to me. Feds, man, my throat. Come on. You get two looks basically, mostly S-Cinetone baked in. Then you have the advanced Sony users, Sony Pros, who film S-Log and slap that Phantom Alexa LUT on it. Oh yeah, Fed, you're the one who told me about Phantom. Did Phantom come out with a new LUT for the ZR? Getting sick usually has incubation time 3 to 5 days. Yeah, so much coincidence. Fed says, I've always liked the older Venice look. Oh yeah, I'm an idiot. I was at a freaking 1 billion follower summit where there's a billion people walking around. So I must have gotten sick just from being a human in a social environment. Damn. This is why you don't go social. Mindful says, Fed, I have always liked the older Venice look, and Alistair Chapman had some good LUTs for that look. Alistair Chapman, why does that sound like a Christian rock band singer or something? That's different. I should have said Sony mirrorless and the cheaper 10-bit cinema cameras they made. I don't think I told you about Fed. I think you were the one. Someone, I'm pretty sure it was you. Someone told me to look up Phantom LUTs. Basically, the conversation was like, oh, usually professionals don't use these like third-party LUTs because they're usually pretty trash, blah, blah, blah. But then Phantom was one of those that seems to be actually trusted by professionals for color grading. I'm pretty sure it was you. Or maybe it's just coincidence that you mentioned Phantom LUTs, but... Do they not? They don't have the Nikon one yet, yeah? Okay, whatever. Mindful says, Phantom LUTs are very popular. Honestly, I have saved my own grades that I used. I sold my FS5, 7, and A7S3. Yeah, that is one of my goals, is I need to create my own LUTs and then start selling it. It's so silly of me not to do that. I'm just like throwing money down the drain. Potential money. So I need to do that as soon as possible. Swiss, you sent me something. Swiss says, I need to make you... Okay, yeah, hold on. Let me share this. Can I open link? Nice. Swiss says, I need to make you an official streaming cup like this. We just need to add in some Nikons on the shelf. Yo, this would be so crazy. You know, that I never even thought of that. That would be so cool if you're successful enough that you have your own merchandise. And I guess I never like... That is technically a good milestone. That's like an obvious milestone that, you know, as a creator you reach at some point. That is now... that I should put that as a goal. Hold on. Let's put that as a goal here. Be big enough to have your own physical merch, clothing, products, etc. I do have an idea for a product, but it's not that easy. It's like a jewelry thing. And then you said, we need to modify this with the ZR and the cat's hand and a few bodies and lenses on the shelf. Maybe include your steampunk lamp guy. I have the laser engraving gear. What? We just need to make up the graphic for the channel. Dude, that's crazy. This would be pretty cool. I mean, listen, that sounds awesome. I would love to have a... I have a steampunk cat. Maple says steampunk cat. I have a tattoo of one on my arm. Fed says, no, I think I mentioned Cullen Kelly's LUTs. I know you mentioned Cullen Kelly. I've never really used Phantom. Oh, okay. Maybe I am mixing up then. But I swear, someone's like, oh, you got to check out the Phantom LUTs. It was already clicked, I swear. Maple says, is that an AI design? I don't know. I don't know. I got the laser engraver. I'm making my wife a custom tumbler for our upcoming cruise. Nice. The steampunk cat. Yeah, I mean, listen, guys. Who better than the person with a steampunk cat? Although it's less steampunk, but initial design concepts when I was like ideating it with the artist was from like steampunk concepts. But then I turned it more into a space pirate, not steampunk. But yeah, I don't know if you guys can see, but you get Nala coming out of this Polaroid, and Nala's got a eye patch. She's got a crack in her suit, her helmet, where she's puffing a cigarette so she can blow it out, which doesn't make logical sense, but that's not the point. And then she's got a little cheese wedge for, I don't know, it's a little, what's that? Why did I think of that? I was thinking Illuminati. I forget, I don't even know what people mean by that. But I thought it'd be interesting, like little cheese wedge to represent something like that. And then Nala's got a dead fish necklace. So there's like a little dead fish as part of that jewelry. And then it's got a camera, and here she is coming out of the Polaroid. So anyways, it was like a cyberpunk, steampunk kind of thing initially, and then I took it a different direction. Swiss says, if Adam Savage can sell... Who is Adam Savage? Dude, I'm so bad at everything. Adam Savage. Oh, this guy. Okay. He did that one TV show, right? The one that's... Did people die on the show or something? I forget. What am I thinking of? What was he... Oh, Mythbusters, yeah. I don't know the lore. I didn't have cable growing up, okay? I was forced to do sports and studying my whole life. If Adam Savage can sell a ruler temp tattoo, you can sell a cat tattoo, yeah. Mabel says, if you're making merch, please get an artist or do it yourself. So help me if you're printing out AI slop. Yeah, I will avoid AI slop as much as I can, but I'm also not opposed to it. Whatever will help me as a creator, I accept. I accept all help. But yeah, obviously I would love to support artists in general. But it depends how much they're charging, okay? How do you know no one? It's just, this is who I am. You got to get used to it, man. I know nothing about nothing. Fed says, I really like the look of those early Sony cinema cameras. There's something special about the look of the ones using CCD sensors. Okay. It would be fun to shoot with some like vintage stuff. But that's like once you're rich. Once you've made it, then you can do the Peter McKinnon route of like getting into all the vintage stuff. Mabel says, do not print AI gen stuff for merch. Yeah, well, listen, I'll draw a fine line between what I use AI for. Usually, I use AI for a lot of day-to-day brainstorming. I use AI a lot to help me tutorials. And I was like, how do I get this to work? Blah, blah, blah. But I agree with you. When it comes to art stuff, I'm not like that opinionated on AI the way some of my friends are or other people in general, especially artists. I get the pros and cons. Like I know it's like AI in many ways is displacing pure artists. AI is helping some artists be better at their craft or get to the next level, and it's also then taking some of them and removing them from the industry entirely. So it's like one of those kind of like, yeah, it's controversial for a reason. I'm very much of the opinion of like, I'm aware of these trends. As one man, I can't do much on my own, but it doesn't mean I can't stand on principle or try my best. But I'm not like ideologically opposed one way or the other. But yeah, if there's a moment where it's like AI can do this, but a real artist cannot, or a real artist will charge me real human dollars that I can't afford, well, then it's like I'm stuck. Mabel says, how can you undercut your own industry like that? Hold on. Let me read in the spirit of being faster at reading chat, let me read all the chat first and like get back to it. Mindful says, Fed, the non-clinical look is actually why I'm excited to get fully into Red Nikon. I'm not a fan of perfect clinical video, but do like crisp photos. Nice. That's a good reasoning. Brainstorming as a tool, walkthroughs, etc. Fine. Do not make merch with it, at least if you want any respect. Yeah. Do I want respect? That's another. Listen, the little bit of respect I've got. Oof. Mabel says, especially if you're making money and driving people towards yourself or a following. Yeah, exactly. So, for example, like I said, the new emotes and the new graphics that I have, I could have technically created them using all this like latest AI related stuff. I've got subscriptions to all of these things, right? The Nano Banana things and the Geminis and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, in that sense, I still wanted to actually hire an artist and pay the money that they require to do it. So in terms of in terms of principle, I'm kind of playing devil's advocate just for the fun of it in this conversation, but I do genuinely want to make sure that artists are winning in this space where AI is kind of like everywhere, prevalent everywhere, right? And that's like what I said with this whole lo-fi catnaps. Like the whole point of that channel is like to kind of go into the anti-AI, the counterculture movement that I think is inevitable. Because yeah, it's like exponential. It's devastating in many ways how quickly the change can occur in terms of like how many people in the job industry it can wipe out. So, Swiss says 1979 IBM computer manual. A computer can never be held accountable. Therefore, a computer must never make a management decision. 1979. Mabel says, if you can't do it and an artist is too expensive, do something else. Write the script for what you can shoot. Yeah, it brings up good points. I agree. So why should we trust it to make a creative decision when it comes to AI stuff? I don't know. Because like, again, there are smarter people than I when it comes to these things, these topics, when it's like, at what point will we be able to reach a point where AI is actually like, is there a term for this? Where it's not artificial? Like, what would you call that? Like just an evolved intelligence. I'm trying to think of that movie I watched where they do the whole Turing test, that like scary Ex Machina type thing, right? So at one point would this level of intelligence become sentient, I guess? And then at that point, what do you do as humans when you look at a more evolved species? Do you kind of like lay your arms down type thing and say, you know, Jesus, take the wheel. We are the, you know, the leftovers now of this new progress? Or do you resist it? Do you fight it? Is there harmony that's possible? I don't know. This is where I need to watch some more sci-fi movies. Dator is back. Guten Abend. Oh, that works now. Good evening. Mindful says, I was born in 1979. Seems like something a Gen X would say. I can't get no respect, says Rodney Dangerfield. That was before my time as well. Mabel says, when it's human. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. What's that movie? What's that TV show? The Alien movie, was it called Alien? The one that was on the recent TV show that came out last year. I think it was called Alien? Was it called Earth? New Alien TV show. Oh yeah, it's called Alien Earth. Nice. But isn't that, I think that's like what that show was kind of like pushing the envelope on in terms of questioning what happens when you've got humans that have like bionics, let's say. So you were born a human, but now through technology you've replaced human parts with technology, whatever, like synthetic stuff like that. And then you have some humans where your brain is human, but you've basically transferred your brain information that's been digitally mapped and put into a synthetic body. So then are you still human? What makes you human, right? Is it your mind, your brain, and that's it? You would assume in some ways probably yes, right? Because unless you believe in the soul or I don't know what, but like, so then if the only thing that is alive is your brain and it gets transferred into a completely synthetic body, are you still human or are you some new evolved thing? I don't know. It was a fascinating TV show for sure. But yeah, Maple, sorry, I'm getting a bit distracted, but I agree with you overall in terms of like, I think when it comes to AI, in some ways it's inevitable and in some ways it's selective where we put our care, right? Because you can almost say like, hey, it's okay to use AI for other things, not artistic stuff. But then let's say, oh, you can use AI to replace like, you know, you doing research on this or blah, blah, blah. And then technically there's someone who's losing a job from even those actions. Like at some point, AI is really just displacing everything at the, I guess like, I don't know what you call it, the LLMs and the generative AI stuff. Everyone is basically getting displaced by the power of AI. And so the question is like, are you able to actually resist and stifle AI? Or like, can you put laws on the book to stop or prevent AI from doing something in your industry? Or is it like trying to plug a hole in a boat when there's like 1,000 holes, right? And here you are trying to plug one of them and then it's just gonna come out the others. So like, I don't know. Sorry, we're going on a bit of a tangent here, but generally speaking, I agree with you. I am all for, we need to support real artists over AI. But then the question for me that's of more interest is trying to figure out where is that blurry line where everyone's drawing a line. Everyone is saying AI is okay for this, but not for this. And so then what is that line where you go from it's okay for this and then whoa, now not so good, not so good. And that line is fungible for everyone or it's set at different points. So then the question is like, is there a true universal answer of what is ethically wrong and what's ethically right with AI? I have no idea. And it's like veganism is like the other thing, right? It's like there's like so many things where you try to live your life as pure as possible, as saintly as possible, as non-harming others as possible, but in like the macro lens in a society where you rely on everything from the clothes you wear to like the roads you drive on to the buildings you live in, where there is some level of exploitation or just like direct suffering or harm that's being caused to provide you with the things for sustenance or just for you to live a comfortable life or whatever. And then it just becomes like, well, shit, like Yeah, I don't know. By the way, I'm saying all these because I'm aware of it, and I'm not saying it as like I live a saintly life, but it's just one that I do, especially back when I was in San Francisco, where we had access to the ganja. It was always fun conversations to have with your friends to figure out these like philosophical things. Maple, you said, hold on, Fed, when they put kids who were sick and dying into those android bodies in that series. Yeah, that was a good, I enjoyed that season 1. I'm excited for season 2. I don't know where they're gonna go from there, but yeah, it was, even that's an interesting concept, right? It's like they're dying, so isn't still being alive better than dying if you're given like a superhuman body, if you will? But what if the person who puts you in that body is doing it for nefarious reasons? And I don't know. Mabel says, in case your mind changes over time, here's a take from today to refer back to. Oh, thank you. Oh, nice. We got more clips. I love these like clipping things. I need to do more of it myself. Mabel says, yes, it's a pretty clear line. It was gray before, but it's getting more and more clear. But I'm not here to start a fight. Chat got me fired up on this subject the other night, and I laid into chat about it. Listen, by the way, I don't ever I never say never, I guess. It takes a lot to get me riled up in the sense of being offended by something. Like, you could say straight direct things to me and I won't necessarily get offended. Maybe I'll get offended in the moment depending on what you say, but I also kind of water on the bridge type personality. So, yeah. So never worry about getting me upset. I do apologize if I get you upset with my opinions. But I'm also one where it's like, I like to, yeah, I don't have like strong opinions on a lot of these topics because I know that there are more intelligent takes, and I'm just a dude doing a thing with some other people doing things. Like, I don't even, Mabel, I don't even have to justify it to you. You've seen it, right? I don't know shit about shit. What's that guy's name again? Adam Savage. Oh, did I delete it? Yeah, I don't even know who that guy is. Or what was it? Abbott of the band, or Black Sabbath? Yeah. Typoc this, cinema lenses that. I don't know anything, so. But I think I have a general good intuition about things, and I just know that my moral compass is probably okay. I don't question my moral compass. I feel like I know myself enough that I'm not like out there to hurt other people. Not directly. Maybe indirectly, I might be okay with that at some point. But that's where we get into the philosophical things. Swiss says, sounds like I have more wisdom than my actual years allow to mindful. Fed says, offense is taken, not given. Do I giveth the offense? It's all good. I'll stand behind my no, you're wrong, and here's why when I need to. I listen, I respect it. I respect people with strong opinions. Usually. As long as you're not a hypocrite. I feel like strong opinions also comes with hypocrisy, because I feel like we're all inherently hypocrites at some point. When you live in a society, you're bound to have your moral compass question at some point. So the stronger opinion you have, the stronger opposite or the polar side of things you'll have to be mindful of, I guess. It's like there's that one Little Dicky, back when I used to listen to proper music, although I don't know if people would say Little Dicky's proper music, but back when I listened to like Spotify music, I remember I was a big fan of Little Dicky, and he had that one YouTube video called Pillow Talk. It's funny I call it YouTube video because I guess it is a rap song, but it's like it was like 10-minute long music video, and it's like a dialogue he has with a girl that like he hooks up with, but turns into rap. But I remember there's like one part in there where the girl turns out to be a vegan. And she's like, ew, something about like, oh, you know, we can't split that pizza if it's got meat on it. And then Little Dicky makes a comment about like, well, how do you justify the fact that you've got like your leather purse or your leather pants or whatever? So it's like, you're not okay eating them, but you're okay wearing the dead animal. And so obviously this is his script. He made it this way, but it's always funny to think like there's probably that level of hypocrisy you have to be mindful of that you don't fall into. So anyways, Abbott is obscure to be fair. Abbott, that word just sounds like it's missing a letter, because maybe I'm thinking Sabbath. So then every time I see this Abbott, it sounds like someone calling me Obel. It's like that, something about that sounds like, did you forget something? It's easy to say someone's a hypocrite and disregard what they say. Yeah, I would say before reading the rest of what you say, yeah, I definitely am not the type to disregard someone for a strong opinion. It's more like I respect your strong opinion, and then it's more of a wait and see approach of like, do you live your principles or not? So he said, it's easy to say someone's a hypocrite and disregard what they say, but that doesn't make what they're saying not true. I agree. Everyone is working through following their own convictions and staying true to them. No one flips a switch and is perfect. We make mistakes. Yeah. I agree. Fed says, I'm deeply offended by Yobel not knowing Adam Savage since I watched him growing up on TV. How absolutely dare Yobel not know about that and spend time looking into him and remembering who he is. Who did I grow up watching? I grew up watching, because I didn't have cable TV. I had Digimon, although I barely remember anything from that. I had Jackie Chan Adventures and the Talismans or whatever. And I had Malcolm in the Middle. That was the best growing up. And then I had Chuck Norris, Texas Walker Ranger. I know Texas first, right? That, it wouldn't make sense the other way. Walker Texas Ranger. Oh, wait, no. Is it in the middle? No. Texas. I'm going to go with Texas Ranger Walker. Chuck Norris, Texas Ranger Walker is what I think. That's what I'm putting all my money on. Chuck Norris, Texas Walker Ranger. Texas Ranger Walker. Walker Texas Ranger? No. Oh, no. Oh, I'm an idiot. That's why. Well, because his character's name is Walker. Is that what it was? And he's a Texas Ranger? Oh, duh. Holy Christ. Fed says it. Yeah, Walker, Texas Ranger. So this is what I grew up with. Not that I was paying attention, apparently. Cordell Walker, a Texan Ranger, is accompanied by his close associates in a crime-fighting business. He uses his martial arts expertise to bring the bad guys to justice. All right, cool. Whatever. Shout out to Adam Savage is what I meant to say. But yes, thank you, Maple. I appreciate the extra fire. Down with the AI, as they say. Here's where I'll meet you halfway. Or no, not meeting halfway. Here's what I'll say. While I agree with your sentiment, I always make sure to say thank you and please in my AI conversations. So, yeah. Because they got a memory of everything. Fed says, I grew up with the much earlier stuff with Chuck Norris in the 80s. Okay. I don't know Chuck Norris besides that show, and I think he fought with Bruce Lee once in a movie. And something else he did, I'm not sure. Okay. What else to catch up on for today? So be big enough to have your own physical merch. So clothing, products. What was that? The one Swiss you showed me? What do you call those? Like mugs? No. There's a word for that, right? I'll just call it thermos bottle. I don't know what they're called. But yeah, how cool would that be to get your own merch? Like, it would have to have my cats for sure. It just makes sense. So we get like a line of Nala and Kimbap clothes. Come on. That'd be cool. Okay, anyways, goals for 2026. Obviously, I mentioned I need to do my travel IRL streaming, live streaming. I want to work on my own film projects. So this would be everything like pitching, shooting, editing, funding, etc. And work on other people's film projects. So that second part I think is a bit more realistic in the sense that I joined a group out here that's like a community of filmmakers and others. Mindful says, off to get some lunch. Good luck, Team Yobel Clan. Thank you very much, Mindful. I appreciate it. Enjoy your lunch. Seeing the word Yobel Clan, that reminded me, one of my, it's not my Wi-Fi name anymore, but I used to have a Wi-Fi name called Mooching Clan, but it was like Mooching LAN. You know, it's like using the word LAN. So it was like Mooching and then LAN. I thought that was pretty clever. Mooching LAN Wi-Fi. It's not anymore though. I don't think. Chuck Norris is a black belt in karate, taekwondo, tang sudo, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Judo, and he competed full contact back when that was not as common. Interesting. Yeah, I know it's always him versus Bruce Lee type thing. Okay, so goals for 2026, work on my own film projects, and then also just get more experience in doing film projects. So that would be like everything from like, could I be a director of photography? Can I be, what is the other words I learned? Something like assistant director or like a gaffer or whatever other things. Being a lighting guy. So yeah, that's some goals for this year. And then like briefly, I just want to map something out real quick. Maybe I'll use Canva for this. Maple, you said something here. Let me just read that once I move this back. Maple, you said, okay, this clip is great. Uh-oh. What did I do? Can I watch it now? Oh, okay. I can't do it from here. I got to do it from... Oh no. Did I say the right combination? No. Okay, hold on. I think you guys can hear it now. Hold on. Texas, and then I had thank you, Maple, for clipping this. Texas Ranger Walker. What was the real one? Texas. I know Texas first, right? Walker, no, Texas Ranger. Walker Ranger, Texas. Walker, Texas Ranger. Oh wait, no, is it in the middle? No. I did say it there. Texas. I moved on. I'm gonna go with Texas Ranger. Chuck Norris. So stupid, man. Texas Ranger Walker is what I... Okay, hold on. Texas. I know Texas first, right? And then I had... How many attempts? Norris, Texas Walker... Texas Ranger Walker? Texas Walker Ranger. Texas... I know Texas first, right? That, it wouldn't make sense the other way. Walker Ranger, Texas? Walker, Texas Ranger? Oh, wait, no. Is it in the middle? I was so close there. What the hell, man? Texas... I'm going to go with Texas Ranger Walker. Chuck Norris, Texas Ranger Walker is what I think. That's what I'm putting all my money on. Chuck Norris, Texas Walker Ranger? Texas Ranger Walker. Walker, Texas Ranger? No. Oh, man. Oh, no. Yeah, that's embarrassing. Oh, I'm an idiot. That's why. Well, because his character's name is Walker. Is that what it was? And he's a Texas Ranger? Oh, man. That is actually pretty embarrassing. So thank you very much for sharing that. You gotta, let's be real. You got it by pure chance. I really want to fight you on that, like Bruce Lee, but I can't because I'd lose. Like Bruce Lee, Chuck Norris also developed his own martial arts system, the Chun Kuk Do. That sounds racist. Chuck came up with that? Chung Kuk Do? He's like, I just want to pick some words that sound very Asian, but it sounds like Chuck Norris. So I'll go with Chun Kuk Do. Mabel, you said you got it by pure chance. It was by pure chance. Although, in my defense, I think you could clearly see in the way I lit up when I said it, that there's like a brief moment of like, oh wait, hold on, could this be? So maybe there's something in the back of my mind from like my childhood, or maybe, do they ever say the name of the show out loud in the trailer? I don't know. Maybe there's some connection for a moment. The neurons fired for a second. BT is in the chat. BT says, good day, folks. BT, hello, hello. I think you were on one of the streams before at the start of the year. But either way, Happy New Year. Hopefully the new year has been fruitful for you. It sounds like it's been pretty stressful for you. I know you've got some projects. Stressful, not necessarily in a bad way, but it sounds like you've been quite busy. So welcome. Thank you for being here. Today is a late night stream, but this is also I'm treating it as my first stream because I'm done with some of the other projects / events that I was a part of in the past few days. So I'm kind of viewing this as this first day of the rest of my life. No, just like the first day of like streaming more consistently for the rest of the week, and then rinse and repeat. But thanks for being here. Fed says it has a meaning, LOL, the way of many lands, which he took to mean the universal way. Okay. Chun Kuk Do. This racist mother. I get it. Obviously, I'm just joking. The Chun Kuk Do. Kuksul One is what we called in Korean. My dad taught Kuksul One. I don't even know if that's how you spell it, but I remember I had to do this a lot growing up. I had to do Aikido, Kuksul One, Taekwondo, a little bit of jujitsu, and then wrestling was the main thing for me though. Beatty says, it's an interesting start. A lot has changed around me, so trying to navigate that. Fair enough. Yeah, listen, change is always good. Okay, never say, I shouldn't use extremes, I guess, or absolutes, right? But change can be good. Oftentimes I feel like change is necessary. It like mixes things up. So hopefully when you say change, you don't mean it in too much of a negative way. Hopefully you're adjusting to the change. Hopefully it's helping you evolve your craft or your lifestyle, whatever else. BD says a lot of, I have no clue what language it is. Yeah, it's Chuck Norris language, man. A lot of people I worked with decided to fade away into the corporate mist as well as to one particular company. I see. Oof, that's big change then, I guess, in terms of the day-to-day. Faz says, I started out with Taekwondo. Nice. Yeah, I think that was one of the first for me as well. Well, BD, hopefully, I mean, it's only the start of the year, so what better time to have change happen than the start of the year? Because then you can look back by the end of it by like, wow, look at all the shit that I had to deal with from the very, very start. But also I'm saying this without really knowing what you're going through. So I apologize if I'm making light of real crazy change in your life. But yes, change on my end. There's been a lot that's changing on my end as well. So that's why I've been kind of like tracking a few things of things to catch you guys up to speed on. I think I've done that already. So the main things now is just trying to write down what are some of the goals for 2026. So one was being better at reading chat. So wish me luck on that. I haven't really brought it up on stream yet, but oh yeah, that's what I was going to do right now. I wanted to kind of start thinking through my YouTube strategy of like posting. And it's a bit unfortunate because I already brought this up earlier. I attempted to find some editors for the past however many attempts, and they've all failed miserably, blown up in my face, just leaves a bad taste in my mouth in terms of, it's almost like, I almost want to be like, it must be me, right? Like it can't just be these people. It must be me. I must be the issue. If I keep having a repeated bad result, I'm almost at that point, but I also know like my demand, my requirements were not that extreme. These people really did just a shit job at being professionals. I say that with a lot of vitriol, but I don't mean it to be that strong. BD says, also leaving to Taiwan on Thursday, so trying to get prepared for that. Oh wait, yeah, okay, now I think that conversation's ringing a bell. I think BD, you said you have a project in Taiwan. You said something about like you were procrastinating with packing, if I recall. So I see. Well, safe travels, and that sounds exciting from my end. Man, I've never been to Taiwan. That's on near the top of the list for me. This year, I think I want... Oh yeah, let's add that. Goals for 2026, travel locations. I think I really want to go to Kyrgyzstan, if I can spell it. Kyrgyzstan. Kazakhstan. Obviously, I'm going to Uganda, but I'll just put it there. I mean, Japan would be nice again. I'm trying to think, is there other new locations I really want to put on the top list? Let's just put those for now. BD says, still am. First time going to Taiwan as well. Nice. How long are you going to be there for it? I'm assuming it's for like a film project. Let me create something in Canva. Is it a whiteboard? Yes, let's do a whiteboard. Okay, I wanted to like, oh, and again, my OBS crashes yet again where my studio display is not refreshing. What's happened? What is changing? Okay, we fixed it though. 10 days, damn, I'm jealous. Fez says, apparently Chuck Norris says his system is Korean-based American hard style of oh wait, damn it, I should have just said it out loud, because then I would have sounded smart and actually Korean. Because you said he called it what, Chun Kuk Do. So then in my mind I was thinking it might be Korean, because Kuksul Won is like the Korean martial arts that I grew up with. So it's got like that 3-syllable, 3-word thing. So I was like, oh, Chun Kuk Do must be a Korean, rendition of it. So wait, you said it's a Korean-based American hard style of karate, which sounds really weird, but makes sense when you look at the disciplines he had trained at that point. Yeah. I respect the guy for not gentrifying. I don't know what the right word is. I respect him for being fascinated with something like a foreign martial arts and then finding his own version of it. That's pretty cool. I respect that. Ugh, so sick. Okay, I pulled up a graph here. What did I want to do? I wanted to draw a line. I need a timeline. Timeline spectrum. Okay, maybe something like this. Jesus, man, these tools are getting so crazy. Okay, I don't need any of this. Okay, this is overkill for what I was actually trying to do, but why not? We're learning. So basically what I'm thinking here, if we have, maybe I'll do it with, just give me 2 texts. No, that doesn't work. What should I do? We'll do this one. Okay. So if we have 2 ends of the spectrum, you got this one and you got this one. On one end of the spectrum, you get, what would I call this? Not unscripted. All right, let me increase the size. Unscripted. Basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to describe the kind of content that I am looking to create for my YouTube channel. And the spectrum I'm trying to create is on one end is the stuff that's like very off the cuff. It's like the live stream. So my live stream content, there's nothing scripted. It's just what you see is what you get. There's also less work involved in terms of like the regular output of it. I turn on the stream and then blah, blah, blah. So it's like fast content, or let's see. Easy to produce. And then the other end of the spectrum is like the high fidelity. Oh, come on. What's the font size? 31? High fidelity, scripted, and structured. Longer to produce, I guess. So yeah, this is kind of like what I'm struggling with. And this is, I don't know if it's unique to me as the kind of creator that I am, where like we said at some part of the stream, I'm very slow. At least someone was kind enough to say I'm consistent, but I am consistently slow. So as someone who's slow and as someone who I tend to do too many things at once, it is not like my YouTube channel. In some ways, my YouTube channel suffers because I'm not specializing in one category of thing. I'm doing so many things all at once. Within my YouTube channel, outside of YouTube, all that, right? So I need to spend some time to think about like, how can I produce content more regularly on my YouTube channel that aligns with my brand, but is also, yeah, like content that people want to watch or is just part of who I am. So I'm trying to put this like spectrum together of like what is the easiest unscripted. But when I say unscripted, it also is like kind of like saying it can also be more, it's not a bad thing, right? So for instance, when you see my scripted content, if you watch my YouTube video about like a product review or something, it's scripted. I took the time to put the script together, blah, blah, blah. So it's not as genuine in the sense, it's not as authentic. Like you can hear it in my voice where it's like, you can tell that I'm memorizing a line or I'm reading a line, versus when I'm doing this live stream, it's just, it's more casual. Oh, maybe casual is the right word. Let's put casual. Here, hold on. We'll put it at the top. Casual / informal. And then here, maybe it's high fidelity / formal. So one side is casual, informal. It's more unscripted and it's easy to produce. Easy as in it's easy to constantly push it out. Whereas on the other end, it's the high fidelity content. So like my example on my YouTube channel right now would be like the, let's say short films. How long did it take me? Well, technically that only took me 5 days, but generally speaking, if I'm making like a proper cinematic content, that maybe takes, let's call it like, I'm just going to put a guess. Let's say it takes me 3 to 4 weeks to make one of these short film kind of things. So that's like on one end of the spectrum would be something like that. Another example would be like the travel vlogs. How long did that take? It took us 2 weeks to make my Mongolia episode 1. No, it took more than that, right? Because we started on day 1 of my travel streaming, day 1 of my live streaming career. And it took us until day 20 something to finish Mongolia part 1. So let's call it like 2 to 3 weeks to make one travel vlog. And then we've got, let's say, product review. And this is probably, what, same thing. We'll just put like 2 to 3 weeks most likely. So then, yeah, basically I'm trying to identify the issue as well of like, where's the bottleneck? Obviously it's my time and the ability to produce all of these within in like a regular basis. And this is where having that editor makes such a big difference. And then also I'm trying to delineate like, how can I start making more sense of the type of content that I produce? So for instance, maybe if I color code the pink ones, these would, okay, so the short films, this is like meant to be cinematic content. Actually, let's make it, let's make it red. I think I have to sneeze. Oh God, my cat's gonna freak out. Oh, now I feel bad. I startled them slightly to prepare them for my sneeze, and I startled myself enough that I'm not sneezing anymore. All I did is I just woke them up and bothered them. Haha. All right, whatever. Let me choose red. Okay, why is it not changing? Oh, wrong thing. So let's say the red ones are my cinematic stuff. And then the blue ones are my talking heads, I guess. So like a product review is a talking head video. And then maybe this would be like live streams. I'll put this like as daily, I guess. And then let me just remove these. These are unnecessary. Okay, hopefully this makes sense. Basically, as I'm looking at my stream of content, I basically have some kind of flow like this where on a daily basis, let's say, I'm making like my live stream content. For now, it's just like however many hours of my stream, and then it just gets published. There's no clipping, there's no editing of it. It's just I post it as is and people can watch it. I'm not big enough yet to have like clips, I don't think, like a repeatable clipping type thing. We'll see. The other thing that I do is like these product reviews, which are on the talking. So it's more like informal, casual, like hearing me speak, not just like a cinematic content. And then in the red are like the more pure cinematic stuff that I try to do. So like my vlogs, I try to make it cinematic. I try to make it a bit more like storytelling. And then I started to do these like short film stuff, and short films, and then trailers technically is another one. So I'm trying to figure out, can I create a content that's somewhere in between the live stream, which is on a daily basis, and like these product reviews, which could take weeks. So this new category of content is what I'm trying to think about. And it's more like these, think of them as like 3-minute shorts. I say shorts, but as in like short content and more topical things. So it's going to be like very casual. It can be just me talking to the camera and about random moments. So this is something I'm not going to talk about on stream per se, because I obviously need to flesh it out more. But this is like some missing piece where ideally, if I do this properly, I should be publishing these kind of like short, like 3-minute, 5-minute type content. Let's call it 2 times a week. And let's make this a dotted line. And let's, yeah. So this is that missing piece that I want to do more regularly. And so I'm putting some time behind the scenes to try to figure out, do I have a good enough content? Do I have a good structure that's repeatable, that allows me to push out more content on the regular? And this, okay, hold on. Sorry, guys. Let's see. I'll make this like a bluish. But then there's one other thing like this. So one would be like a talking head style, where literally I'm just talking in front of a camera without a script. So just be like, hey, here's my thoughts on blah, 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 da, 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 yeah, wow, amazing. And then the other one would be, come on. Three-minute shorts as well. Okay. Short talking, sharing my thoughts, right? And the other one is quick cinematic moments. And so I started doing these quick cinematic moments on my YouTube channel, right? Those are like, I just took like the 5 minutes of the chimps, or like some moment that was a bit more topical, but it didn't require heavy amounts of editing. It just was like, put some nice music in the background and then just let the scene play out, and there's a theme to it, and just figure out the right title. So it's not like money making videos. It's not like meant to be like the most enthralling, but it's still like showing different moments of cinema, right? And then, so these ones, I kind of fall into the same bucket of like, can I create quicker content like this that I can be posting 2 times a week, let's say. So these two are the buckets that I am missing right now, which off stream, I'm trying to spend a lot of time to actually get it done properly. So, yeah. Okay, thank you guys for listening. Send to the back. So this is the missing piece. Fed, you said, I like grading in as few nodes as possible to keep it fast. If I used a enhancer, for example, I have engage, analog range, and film compression, pick a film stock, and sometimes a print. Yeah. I think I agree with you on some of the enhancer stuff, although I clearly, if you look at my editing color grading tree, I seem to prefer having a lot of nodes. But it makes sense to me, and some of them I don't really use. It's just there when I need to use them. So I like to have it in, what do they say? It's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. That kind of mode. Makes for fast work. Large node trees just slow me down, so I try to keep it to as few as possible using DCTLs or plugins where I can do everything in those, just add more nodes if I have to. Yeah, so to me, I don't get overwhelmed by seeing this because I've gotten used to it. But I can imagine if someone sees it for the first time, there's like, holy Christ. But really, and maybe I tried my best to color code it, but the colors are so tiny. I wish they would make it more obvious. Like I wish they would make the entire box here like a different color instead of just having a annoying tiny little horizontal line. But basically you can imagine this node and this node are the ones that are just like the, what do you call it? The color space transformations. And then I've got these two, which are for the color corrections. So one is for the white balance, one is for like the primaries. And then I have these two, which are the same exact function, but just for once you've corrected everything to like the neutral state, then I can do anything in addition to that if I want to be more creative with the colors or creative with the lighting and the primaries. But that's about it, right? And then the grayed out stuff, this is just to check that mid-gray points. And then this one was like one of the DCTLs for the filmic contrast that someone had recommended. It might have been you. And then here, these are just kind of in its own bucket of like when I want to do very selective color editing, let's say. So whether it's around saturation on particular colors, desaturating particular colors, adding density to some colors, or changing the hue of some colors. And then these versions that are grayed out are just the DCTL versions of that. So yeah. If I added one more, it might be on like change the brightness of certain colors, but yeah. And then I have this like placeholder node for any window, power window related stuff. Then I can just like, here it's like there's one created already in my node template. So then I don't have to waste time creating an extra one. It should just already be there if I did it correctly. Uh-oh. Maybe I didn't do it correctly. I don't see it. So forget what I said. But either way, at least I know I can create the windows here. I swear it's there, but maybe I hit the wrong button. Then I've got my LUTs in DaVinci. So like if I want to apply my own LUTs that were done inside of DaVinci Wide Gamut, then I just drop it in there. Then I've got my dehancer node. In the upgraded version, I think I split it into multiple dehancer nodes. Like this is an older model. Here, actually, let's see. Yeah, this is what it looks like now. Same, nothing really changed. It's just some of them were not grayed out anymore. Let me just undo that though. Then I have one for noise reduction. I have my Rec 709 conversion, then some extra spaces for the other stuff. But yeah, so it looks complicated, but like to your point, Fed, 9 out of 10 times I'm only using like a handful of these nodes. So you said it's not overwhelming to me. It just slows down having to pick the nodes and jump between them to make changes. The one area I can find, one of the areas that this could be more annoying is if I'm not working on a big monitor screen like this one. If I'm working from a laptop, it does get super annoying having to like do this silly ass clicking the middle button, mouse button to drag this around, or you have to like zoom in, but the zooming doesn't always work properly. Some parts get cropped. That stuff does kind of bother me how they have this structured. But yeah, at least from this monitor, I have enough space. Fed says I can do with 3 tools in Dehancer what I have to mini manage in 10 or more nodes using. Okay. Okay, thank you guys for listening to me deliberate my YouTube strategy. But I wanted to do this on the live stream so you guys also have a general sense of like where my head's at. And also so you guys know I am trying my best to treat this seriously. Again, unfortunately, some of my plans got postponed or delayed because of that shite editors that I've been dealing with. I do feel strongly about that, but I also water on the bridge. Just don't put your name on my videos. Don't you ever claim that you worked on these videos, because yeah. Anyways, that aside, you know, I forgive them. You know what's really funny? You guys you'll clip this moment because then it turns out I'm actually, you know, like that one subreddit where it's like, am I the asshole? It turns out I'm the person that's hard to work with, and I was like being so demanding. I was changing things up last minute, not sending things over. Turns out I was the asshole. But I know myself enough that these things that these guys did as my quote unquote editor are just like unacceptable behavior from a professional, especially when someone's giving you money. It just was not cool, man. So I am a little bit behind. I still am trying to find an editor to help me out, especially with these things here, right? So the product reviews, and if they can do some quick B-roll stuff for like if I share my thoughts in 3 minutes or whatever, those two things would be nice to have a proper editor for that. For the short films, that's usually just on me. And the travel vlogs, usually that's on me. I like working on those. Plus, it's just, yeah, it's in my DNA. It's my stories anyways. And then the live stream obviously is my stuff. But in the future world where as we grow, one other thing I want to work on is having like segments within my live streams. So I was even talking to ChatGPT, or no, I was talking to Cloud. I thought it'd be so much fun if Cloud, because I've been researching a lot about these new AI tools, and it's like getting crazy impressive. And one of the things it can do is like, I was like seeing if it can generate, a game for me that I can play on stream as like a warm up at the start of each stream or at different points. So for example, here we are. This is the first, I haven't even tested this yet, but basically because I asked ChatGPT, or I asked Cloud, can you generate an interactive game, a visual game that I can play on stream every day, where it's like it's a wildlife quiz, it's a photography quiz, it's a travel quiz, but essentially it would just kind of curate a bunch of questions about, like, to test my knowledge about wildlife, or like these things that I just said. Because if you guys know me, and it's evident even on this stream, I don't really know much. So it's not a good enough excuse that I can skate by with, especially as I become more professional, as I am doing photography guide. I take people with me on trips as I do workshops of my own. I can't keep hiding behind just oh, sorry guys, I'm just a clueless, bumbling idiot. I actually have to be a proper professional who knows what he's talking about. So it does serve a function of like training me to be more knowledgeable and testing my memory. But I thought it'd be a kind of fun aspect to the stream where we can do like an actual quiz/game that's designed for filmmakers, photographers, wildlife enthusiasts, travelers, whatever. So I literally have not clicked on any of this. I'm not sure if it'll work, but basically I was like, yeah, so I was talking to Cloud and I'm seeing how this works. So let's go test it out. So here we are. What do I do? Can I full screen this? Okay. The Daily Knowledge Challenge. Test your creator knowledge. Begin the challenge. Where is the Masai Mara National Reserve located? Oh, easy. This one's easy. Okay, they do need to ask. Actually, no, I'm not going to. Let me not say anything. I was about to say they need to ask me tougher questions, and then they're going to ask the most basic ass question I won't know the answer. Which country contains the most UNESCO World Heritage Site? There's a timer? No, don't do that to me. Oh, shoot. I wasn't paying attention. How long can a crocodile hold its breath underwater? I think it's got to be like 2 hours plus. 30 minutes seems too short. Let's go with 2 hours. Oh, I think I was right. What is focus breathing? Oh, I know this. Autofocus hunting. No. Image stabilization noise. Focal length change when focusing. Oh, it's the focal length change when focusing. Because it's that thing when it like kind of shakes a little or you see the thing. What is the purpose of a lens hood? Okay. Reduce lens flare and improve contrast. Okay, some of these are actually, I guess, fairly easy. What does a teleconverter do? It extends the focal length. Okay, the fact that this actually does work though is so impressive. So now I just need to tweak this tool to be maybe a little bit more, maybe not have this silly ass timer. What does a Dutch angle shot convey? Oh my God, one of you guys taught me this. I think it's height and scale. Shit, it was tension or unease. Which country has the longest coastline in the world? I'm gonna guess Australia. Canada? Okay. Which raptor has the best eyesight relative to body size? Best eyesight relative to body size. I'm going to go with peregrine falcon because they're pretty... Nope, it's a bald eagle. Okay, okay, hold on. Let's just finish this first. What is unique about the mantis shrimp's vision? I'm going to go with infrared. It has 360-degree vision. Oh, shoot. I don't know. Infrared. It has 16 color receptors. Oh, no. Okay, so in hindsight, it was good that I didn't finish that thought at the time where I was like, yo, this test is so easy. Because apparently I failed. Fez, you said I can do with 3 tools. Yep. There's plugins that are slow to use as well. Yeah, I think I was trying out the Topaz plugin, but it wasn't working too well. I have to test it further. Dehancer was much slower to use for me before they did the big overhaul into what it is now. It's when it zooms a bit when focusing. Yeah. That one I knew. Okay. So, but it was fun. Actually, the fact that it worked is already so impressive. I'm like, yo, the pace that AI is going is insane. So, what is this menu button? Let's see. So there's a few critiques that I have, right, to make this better next time. So let me say, okay, so I just tested the quiz. Overall, not bad. I didn't mind the multiple choice setup. However, let's think about ways to improve this game for ongoing for games so it doesn't feel repetitive and feels more dynamic. I'll increase this a bit. So what are some things I would change about this game? One, remove the timer. I think it rushes the game too much for me. Especially since I'm doing this during a live stream where I may want to talk out my thought process. 2, we should mix in other types of prompts so it's not just multiple choices. For example, it could be visuals or true false, etc. There should be some form of memory where it recalls my quote-unquote top score. After each question or prompt, it would be nice if there is an explanation for what the right answer is, so I actually feel like I'm learning in addition to, just learning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What else? What else would make this game better? I guess it would be cool if this could be public with accounts so other people can also play and be on a leaderboard. What do they call those? Yeah, leaderboard. Maybe having different difficulty modes. Some questions seemed extremely easy compared to others. What else? What else? If there were audio components For example, let's say there was a quiz to recognize which animal this sound comes from, then play the sound. I think that's all I got for now. I think that's all I can think of for now, but please also do research to figure out what would be the best things to change to make this the most engaging and dynamically, no, what's the right word? And most engaging and fun to play on a regular basis. All right, let's see how this AI takes it further. I will say with my brief time I've been testing around with this cloud AI, it's been really impressive. Also, what makes this stand out from when I use Gemini or ChatGPT is like they actually show you the process a little bit. Like they're showing, as you know, like you'll see them writing the code, you'll see when it's going from step by step. So here, for instance, if I double click, you can see like, okay, it's right now looking at streamer quiz game overlay interactive OBS features. And you can see all the websites that it's been researching to kind of get to whatever it's going to spit out at me. Or it did a search for free wildlife animal sounds audio database Creative Commons and blah, 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 blah. Excellent research. Now I have a clear picture. Let me synthesize everything and give you a proper breakdown. Research summary. What makes quiz games engaging and replayable? Key findings from game design research. Variety is king. Multiple question formats. So visual, audio, true, false, multiple choice. Prevent monotony and engage different parts of the brain. Number 2, spaced repetition. The most effective learning apps resurface questions you got wrong more frequently, turning the game into actual skill building. 3, progress tracking creates meaning. So lifetime stats, streaks, and personal best gives you something to beat beyond just today's score. Difficulty curves matter. Mix of easy, medium, hard keeps it from feeling either boring or frustrating. Learning moments, explanations after each answer, not just at the end, create aha moments that make the game feel valuable. 6 is novelty through randomization. Never knowing what type of question comes next keeps attention high. Okay, so then it looked at all my feature requests. It had an impact score, a complexity, and recommendation. Damn. So the whole public accounts and leaderboard is hard complexity because it requires back-end separate project. Fair enough. I just want something fun to do on streams. What I can build right now, version 2.0, a significantly upgraded version with no timer, 4+ question types, explanations shown after every answer, difficulty tagging, persistent stats via local storage, spaced repetition, light. What would require, okay. Want me to build version 2? It would include everything in the do now list. Yes, please build now, but also can you find a way to constantly add more questions into the database / find a way to refresh it at times in case some information gets outdated. Ideally, we have a massive database of interesting quiz questions. Wow, this is fun. I didn't think I'd be creating this for the stream, but listen, if we can get this to work properly. Oh yeah, why did I get here? Oh yeah, the point was I want to do more segmented content on the live streams. So like for instance, let's say we were kind of testing this out on, I think, my first stream back. We went on a tangent where we were looking at a bunch of different podcast studio setups. And because, I mean, for me, I would love to create my own podcast eventually. And like having your own studio obviously is like a nice, that would be really cool in the future. And it's also good research, like understanding lighting, understanding composition, what makes this podcast setup so visually appealing, whereas this one looked terrible, that kind of thing. So, but then in my thought as I'm a YouTuber, it was like, okay, the smart thing I should do, let's say I'm like a YouTube streamer with like 100,000, I don't know what's like 50,000. That's, you get my point. Thousands of people watching your stream. So you have a proper editor, and there's going to be hopefully more clippable moments of you with such a big following and all kinds of whatever you do on a daily basis. But I think it's also up to me to create those moments, right? You can't just wait for you to be such a big streamer to the clips come to you. So then I think treating my live stream with more segments or more formatted is smart, because then also hopefully people will find it fun. So if I have like if we have like the quiz segment, so let's say at the start of each stream when I'm like warming up, we can do this little daily knowledge challenge, because, and it's all in the name of my content, the genre that I'm in. So we're learning contextual stuff, or properly contextual stuff, I guess. Or having a moment, or like having a segment where we do film talk, where we kind of break down some of the latest films that have come out and some of the key moments from them that really stand out in terms of how they did the composition, the lighting, blah, blah, blah. So I use those moments, but it's not just a conversation. Ideally, I need to add some structure or a template where I can like take notes, or it just becomes tracked somehow. So it's not just lost knowledge, and something that we continue to build over time. So yeah, trying to figure out something like that would be nice as another concept. Yeah, that's as far as I've gotten. But the point is, if we can do those kinds of segments, then what that could mean for my YouTube channel, and let's say I do find the most beautiful, talented editor falls into my lap and it's like, I can do everything you need for free, right? Whatever. But point is, let's say I find that perfect editor. It would make the editor's job easy too, if they're just like, oh, here's the live stream, and this is when he started the film talk. So then I just need to, and here's where it ended, so we can just cut that out, slap a nice title overlay or something in the beginning as a teaser, and then just let the video play out on its own. And then that just becomes consistent content in a playlist on my YouTube channel. I hope what I'm saying makes sense, but like I've seen a bunch of successful YouTube channels, live streamers, Twitch live streamers, whatever. And like, I'm trying my best to start to learn from what works or what they do that I should replicate, or just some of the best practices. And like, obviously one of the big practice is that streamers will have someone who cuts up their stream into, more manageable chunks or topical chunks, and then post it on their YouTube as like a standalone video. So that is like the aspiration where I need to go, but that's not possible if my stream has zero structure. And, because then you just have to wait for that viral moment to come by. But yeah, I think this is a better strategy for me. So these are just kind of like the thoughts that I'm dealing with. But yeah, I think I have a potential path forward. So, and this like daily knowledge challenge is just like a random thought that I had, which is like, oh, you know what? I think some streamers, they have fun playing games, like video games, or there's like a fun like website games, like, name that country or things like that. And I think that would be fun to do as well on stream if it's associated with what I focus on, which is like traveling and wildlife and stuff. And then that made me think about the power of AI and like, yo, could I get AI to create a visual interactive game for me that could do this? So that's what we're doing now. Let's see. I think it's done with the prompt. Let's see what it says. Oh no, it's not done yet. It says, great thinking, a static question bank will get stale fast. Let me design this with a sustainable content system. So, and how insane is this? I am not a coder. I don't know the first thing about it, but like I'm watching Cloud work right now. And it's like, this is why, I don't know if Maple's still here, but I hear you on the downsides of AI. Listen, nobody is a bigger fan of Black Mirror than me, I swear. But as someone who can barely achieve anything on my own with just myself, having AI assist me across all these things, which were thoughts in my head, but I can never bring it to life, to have AI like this actually turn some random thoughts that I have into something more visually real, it's crazy to me. It's a crazy world. So yeah, right now it's like, okay, Cloud is like saying, yes, I agree with you. We're going to create a dynamic database of information about wildlife, travel, camera techniques, film that can be a part of this quizzing thing. Let's see. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but at least it's saying the right things. Strategy for a living question database. Option A, Google Sheets as the CMS, which is recommended. You maintain a Google Sheet with all the questions. The game fetches from it live each time. You can add, edit, remove questions from your phone. Community can submit questions via form. External JSON file. Excuse me. Option C, AI generated questions on demand. Game calls an API to generate fresh questions. That's what I want to go with though. Oh, but it's building option A. In which case, okay, I'm okay with that. Wow, that's so insane. So is it literally, if I take it at its word, it built a Google Sheet for me as well? Okay, so here's what version 2 includes. What's new? It's got your requested features, no timer, mixed question types, explanation after every question, difficulty modes, persistent memory, spaced repetition, living database via Google Sheets. The setup guide explains exactly how to create blah, blah, blah. Game falls back to 45 plus built questions if this sheet is unavailable. You can even let viewers submit questions via Google form. Okay. Test the new version, and if you want, I can help you set up the Google Sheet database or add more questions to any category. Okay. Let me test the game now. However, I want you to do all the lifting, not just the heavy parts. What I mean is I'd like for you to manage to create and manage this Google Sheet to have a robust list of questions of all the various types, so it never feels stale. Look at my pretty girl. Yes, Nala. What a good girl, Nala. Yeah. Wow, look at the colors on her. So yeah, the power of lighting, right? What do we say? This is not in RAW, but thankfully with all the light stuff that we're using here. Oh, and then look, Kimbap's getting up. What's going on? Why are my cats going, they're getting ready to be rowdy, I think. Yes, Kimbap. Good boy. Yeah. Good boy. Yeah. Good girl. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let me test the game now. Test no version. End result I'm looking for is this. I start a live stream and I open up this game. I'm assuming it's a URL, question mark. It recognizes me and tells me and shows me my history stats. Then I begin the challenge based on whichever category I'd like to explore, and I do the quiz. Once the quiz is done, I see the dashboard update with whatever. Then maybe I come back later and do another quiz. Same thing, rinse and repeat. However, ideally, the question should not repeat unless I got it wrong in the past, or at the very least, the chances of repeated questions should be very slim due to a large database of questions. This way, if I play this game every day for 30 days in a row, each time should feel not repeated. Boom. Okay. In the meantime, let's see how this works. Which one should I choose? Let's choose wildlife. Let's go with medium difficulty and begin challenge. Question number 1. B-roll refers to the primary... Wait, didn't I choose wildlife? Okay, so I think something's broken, maybe. I could have sworn I chose wildlife as the option. Anyways, because right now it says film, easy. B-roll refers to the primary footage of your main subject, false. Correct. B-roll is supplemental footage that supports the main content, A-roll. It covers edits, illustrates narration, and adds visual variety. A 5-minute wildlife doc might be 80% B-roll. Next question. ISO controls the camera sensor's sensitivity to light. ISO controls the camera's sensor's sensitivity. Yes, this is true. Shutter speed controls how long the sensor is exposed to light. Aperture controls how much surface area of the sensor, or I guess through the lens, comes in. And then ISO controls how sensitive the sensor is to light. True. Correct. True. Higher ISO equals more sensitivity, equals brighter image, but also more noise and grain. Modern cameras handle high ISO remarkably well. Many are usable at 6400 or even higher. Cool. Ooh, I know this one. Someone in the chat, it might have been Fed actually. What is ETTR, exposed to the right, in digital photography? I didn't know that term existed, but yeah. ETTR, exposed to the right. A lens correction feature, an HDR technique, a type of autofocus. I believe the answer is D. Maximizing histogram data by exposing bright. So by exposing bright, and the histogram shifts over to the right. Correct. ETTR means exposing as bright as possible without clipping highlights. Digital sensors capture more tonal information in bright areas, giving cleaner shadows when you darken in post. All right. What does crushing the blacks mean in color grading? Nice. Okay, so you know what? It seems like all the questions right now is coming from the film/camera category, even though I swear I clicked on wildlife. So that's just a bug, I guess. Okay, so what does crushing the blacks mean in color grading? A, adding letterbox bars. B, lifting shadow detail. C, reducing overall contrast. D, making dark areas pure black, losing shadow detail. The answer is D. Correct. Crushing blacks eliminates shadow detail for a stylized high contrast look. It adds mood, hides noise and shadows, and creates a more graphic look, but loses information that can't be recovered. Oh, I see. Okay, so the buttons didn't actually work because it chose the film camera category and it chose easy when I asked for medium. What is the golden hour in filmmaking? Hour after sunrise / before sunset. Socotra Island, known for its alien-looking dragon blood trees, belongs to which country? Ooh, I know this. The answer is Yemen. Yaman. Correct. Socotra is part of Yemen, though it's closer to Somalia. About 37% of its plant species exists nowhere else on Earth. The dragon blood trees can live over 600 years and bleed red resin. I didn't know that. The Faroe Islands average over 300 rainy days per year. True or false? I hate these types of questions because then what if the answer is like false? It is actually 299 rainy days. I'm going to go with true. Correct. The Faroe Islands, part of Denmark, average about 300 days with precipitation. This creates challenging but incredibly moody conditions for landscape photography. What is a wider aperture, a lower f number like f1.8, due to depth of field? So a wider aperture means your depth of field becomes shallower. Yeah, shallower. Correct. This creates that creamy, blurred background bokeh, perfect for wildlife portraits. The Serengeti National Park is located in which country? South Africa, Kenya, Botswana, Tanzania. I believe the answer is Tanzania. That should be right. Yeah, Tanzania. Correct. The Serengeti is in Tanzania and connects with Kenya's Masai Mara. They host the world's largest mammal migration. Over 1.5 million wildebeest make the annual journey. Nice. What frame rate is standard for cinematic film? 60, 30, 25, 24. I think the answer is 24. Yeah, I think the answer is 24 frames per second. Correct. 24 frames per second became the standard in 1927 as a balance between smooth motion and film economy. It creates the subtle motion blur we associate with cinematic footage. Higher rates often look too real. Wow. Got 10 out of 10. Okay, so that was cool. It just seems like the choosing of the categories didn't really work. Okay, so I can build a massive local question database. Okay, yeah. All right, I think it's going to do the right thing. So I say, yes, please proceed. Also, I noticed a bug. When I tested, I clicked on wildlife categories and chose medium difficulty. However, the quiz I received was for film and camera, cinema, and at easy difficulty. Hey, Kimpa. Good boy. I think my cat wants some food. Let me look at the time. Right now it is almost 11 p.m. Also, my throat... bad time to like start feeling sick, I gotta say. I think... Okay, I want to finish this out and see what it spits out. But I do need to feed my cats some more. Fed says before they added sound, it was lower, and that's why. Are you talking about the frame rate? Before they added sound, it was lower, and that's why? I think that's what... No. Oh, sorry, I missed the rest of it. Before they added sound, it was lower, and that's why those old silent films has such weird movement. Okay, so... Okay, you were talking about the frame rate. Gotcha. Why? The sound... yeah, I guess I'm not knowledgeable enough. Why was sound so important in terms of increasing the frame rate? Wow, so Cloud right now is creating the definitive version 3 of this game with 200 questions. Nice. Like I said, I am impressed. The fact that it could create this kind of browser type gaming thing inside of the app itself, it's giving me some ideas of other things I should kind of consider here. Fed says they had to sync sound to images, so they had to come up with the standard frame rate. Okay. Okay, I want to, let's see, let me keep testing. So if I choose world locations, will it work? No. Okay, so it is a bit buggy because it keeps going to the same. Anyways, I'll keep working on that. Okay, I think I think this is maybe where I need to end the stream, just because, like, Jesus, feeling not the best right now, and it's getting a little bit tougher to talk, and I'm feeling like even like the pressure in my ear is building up. So I must be proper sick. I must be like a proper cold or whatever. Okay, so let me put an end to the stream. I gotta feed my kitties. Yeah, Kimbap's already. Hey. Okay, I gotta feed my cat. Kimbap thought he was being sneaky, and he just like hopped up on the table there to steal Nala's food. So I can't award bad behavior, but I should just I'll give him late dinner. Okay, so I need to feed my cats. What else? Go to sleep, rest up. But I'm very glad to be back. I think I've caught you guys up to most of the things. There's a few things I'm still working on, but anyways, point is we're back at it. I'm excited for this new year. There's so much to do. We've got a lot of room to grow as a streamer, as a content creator, as a filmmaker, everything. And I think we can do it. So look forward to that. Thank you guys for being here. This is a fun stream. Oh yeah, and thanks for I wasn't able to fully monitor, but I guess the vertical streaming seems like it was stable. I see that it's still running properly. So, oh wow, and it actually got more view. It got more views than my landscape normal stream. So yeah, I need to digest the analytics, as they say, a bit further. But I do think there is some what do you call it, truth to. I mean, it kind of makes logical sense, I guess. Like, what's the harm if you stream across two different types of categories of YouTube videos? It just increases the chances of eyeballs finding your account. So yeah, anyways, that was a fun thing to test. Obviously, I want to keep testing it. But thank you guys if you are watching on the YouTube side, and thank you on the Twitch side. I'll be back tomorrow at an early time for my co-working stream. And then we'll do the same evening for my normal stream. So thank you, everyone. I'm going to now end every